It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacy, Jeff, Ant, they're all here. We'll talk about the, dueling AIs. Microsoft announced it's going to put AI into Bing. Google says we're putting Bard into Google search. Ant Pruitt says, why? We'll try to figure that all out. We'll also talk about some changes at Google, including blurring adult images in your image search. Some problems at Twitter, but not for Elon. Good news for him in his latest trial. And a lot more, including pigeons, AI-generated music, and Ant Pruitt demonstrating the power of the squeeze. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 702, recorded Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. Lying around. This Week in Google is brought to you by Melissa. Over 10,000 clients worldwide in industries like retail, education, healthcare, insurance, finance, and government rely on Melissa for full-spectrum data quality and ID verification software. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. And by FastMail. Reclaim your privacy, boost productivity, and make email yours with FastMail. Try it free for 30 days at fastmail.com/twit. FastMail is also giving Twit listeners a 15% discount on the first year when you sign up today. And by 8 Sleep. Good sleep is the ultimate game changer, and the pod cover is the ultimate sleep machine. Go to 8sleep.com/twit to check out the pod cover and save $150 at checkout. 8 Sleep currently ships within the U.S., Canada, the U.K., select countries in the EU, and Australia. It's time for Twig, This Week in Googles. And we got a great panel here for you. As always, Ant Pruitt is joining us from Hands On Photography, our community manager at the Club Twit Discord, and proud Clemson hat head wearer.
Yes, I am follically challenged, and it's cold in here, and I'm the only one here, and I refuse to turn on the heater in the house if I'm the only one
I now have total sympathy. After shaving my head a few years ago, I realized, the hair actually keeps you warm. It's like a hat. I'm always wearing a hat. Makes a difference, sir. Glad to be here. Appreciate you having me here each and every week. Jeff Jarvis is here. He's the professor, Leonard Tao professor, as it would be, as it should be, professor of journalistic innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. We should get pigeons cooing
for Craig, in honor of Craig. I think pigeons.
Guy.
I think, you can, a pigeon rescue place visited him. There's great pictures of Craig with pigeons on him. I think you should have a pet pigeon on the show, Leo.
A pet pigeon on the show. I wouldn't mind pigeon orange. How about that?
Wait a minute.
Craig might not appreciate that. Also with us, Stacy Higginbotham from StacyOnIoT.com. Hello, Stacy, with her Frida Kahlo robot shirt.
That's right.
Did the robots have unibrow? What makes them Frida Kahlo?
They just look Frida Kahlo-y. They don't have eyebrows. Maybe they're
brows
not
at all.
Yeah. Okay. I got nothing.
Hey,
they're just robots.
Whatever floats your boat. You know what else is here? Because we wanted to talk about something that's just coming out on the Kickstarter. Our good friend Glenn Fleischman is here. Hello, Glenn.
Ahoy, ahoy. How are y'all?
Ahoy, hoy. You told us last time you were on about this book you've been working on with Marcin Wichary. Is that how you say his name?
It's, let me work on it. It's Marcin Wichary.
Marcin Wichary.
He's originally from Poland. He's lived in the United States for decades now.
It's called...
He's written his first book.
Shift Happens.
What
but the
a
book's
first
not
book
out
it
yet.
is.
But you can get in on the Kickstarter, right?
That's right. We launched yesterday. So I should point out, he's the author of the book. I'm the editor and project manager and bottle washer and midwife of the thing. And so we've been planning for literally years. launched it yesterday, and it is well over $400,000.
What?
now in our
Yes.
Then you don't need to be on anymore. Thank you very much.
150K.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Holy cow.
Man.
Well, it's people like typewriters and keyboards. That's
Yeah,
that we
with a
found out. We
2-hour
thought
chat with Marcin.
yesterday.
That was just great yesterday. Wonderful.
Oh, I missed it. I didn't know about it. So
Yeah, it's
you are already, 282% funded.
yeah.
So I guess,
one day in.
but you know what? No, now we're not doing it for money. We're doing it because we know you would be interested in this. You, our listeners, a history of
nerdy listeners.
keyboards from early typewriters to modern mechanical marvels. It's beautiful production. It's slip covered, 2 volumes. Is this 4-color? It's beautiful.
4-color.
Beautiful.
It's
printing.
Not only 4-color, but stochastic parrots, or what is it, Glenn?
Stochastic screening. That's good though. I like it's it uses it's a relatively since here I'll put on my printing history hat, since the 1800s when photographic methods were introduced into newspaper reproduction, the halftone screen has been the way that you take a continuous tone photograph and you turn it into collections of clusters of dots that fool our eyes into thinking they're tones. Well, the new thing is stochastic screening, which has been kicking around for a couple decades, but it's really been refined about 10 years ago. And it's like dithering. We all remember dithering from, Mac paint art and so forth. It's like dithering, but it's like dithering times 1,000. So it's very, very fine clusters of dots. And, if you look at so we printed, this is a press test that we made into a keepsake. We sent out to a few people like Jeff and Leo maybe. And so there's pages like this that have what feels like a solid orange gradation, and it's all dots because
Leo, look at it really close with your eyes.
I
and
can't
you can't
see the dots. No,
the
it's
printing.
amazing.
Yeah,
Is it like pointillism?
it's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like that for sure. It's like little tiny shapes, but they're so small that you can't perceive them. So you get what look like solid colors. So one of the things we're doing is there's like the footnotes and so forth. There's tiny orange footnotes. And normally you'd use a spot color. You'd have to use its own ink. And we're using the process colors, cyan, magenta, yellow is how you print, and plus black is how you print for full color in most cases. And you separate out color images into those colors and you get the result. So this is, I don't know, it's an amazing little process.
It's so beautiful. Here's some images
really
that you sent us as part of the press kit so that people can see. I mean, this is going to be, it's something you're going to want to put on your shelf or
Your coffee table.
Yeah, except it's
After you
slip
finish
covered.
reading it, yes.
Yeah, it's
small though. It's what we're calling it's like a coffee table book, but it's how big is my head? It's like 7 by 10 ish size,
Nice.
7 inch by 10 inch instead of but it's going to weigh like 4 pounds of, it's about 3.5 pounds of volume. We try to get it down, but volume 1 it's 2 volumes. Volume 1 is kind of analog keyboards, as like typewriter keyboards from their start, and then volume 2 is more digital. It's like keyboards attached to digital things and all the way through mobile. But what the book is really about is about the stories of people. So it's technology told through a human lens as opposed to here's the model and long lists. And so you find out what an absolutely cranky person Christopher Scholes was, who is mostly responsible for the first typewriter that went into production, the Scholes and Glidden, it's usually called. That guy could not stop. He was never satisfied, could not stop inventing. He just kept tinkering at the thing. And even when he and Glidden managed to sell it to Remington, which put it into production in the 1880s, Scholes is like, I'm not satisfied. He just kept working on the thing until his death, just kept making new models and prototypes and insisted to get better. Everyone else is like, QWERTY is fine for us. We'll just use QWERTY for the next 150 years. That's all right.
Here's
Scholes fancied himself kind of the rescuer of women by creating, and I have this great print in my computer of women, angels and Scholes, of him thinking that he rescued women from drudgery work to work in offices with drudgery work.
Yes.
Oh, but now they're typing instead.
Exactly.
Okay, I would rather type something than run laundry through a mangle. I'll
I
be
agree.
honest.
Here is actually a collection of 6 keyboards that Stacy has pounded on.
Look, just like my keyboard. You're right.
This is what happens.
This is an example of the different kinds of switches computer keyboards use. You tapped into something, if you'll forgive the pun, because
that's terrible.
Because there's something about computer folks, and I think I'm kind of among the group where we're just really fascinated by keyboards. We We buy expensive keyboards, a broad variety of them. This is just very. So he is a design manager at Figma. So he's been a designer at Medium and Google and so forth. But obviously he's been collecting these images and this information for many, many years.
Yeah, this goes back. Andy Baio, who's one of is the first CTO at Kickstarter and runs the XOXO conference and waxy.org.
Waxy links.
Generally interesting and lovely fella. Andy posted a message on Mastodon pointing out to Marcin that he'd started in 2015 when he posted a tweet that said, I should write a book about, and had a bunch of pictures. And Marcin did not remember that. He thought he'd started a year later, but he literally said, I should write a book about it. So that's the left-hand tweet, and the right-hand tweet is, and now it's on Kickstarter and it's funded.
Nice.
So it's pretty exciting. Nice. I mean, I have my stake in this. I really want this to be good, but it's lovely to support an author. Like, this is his project, and I'm so, delighted to help bring it to fruition. But I've got a background in printing and a bit of fast typer since I was 11. I taught myself to type because my dad said, typing might be useful. Sorry,
yeah, Dad was right. Well, you're the perfect person to edit this. It will be released in October of this year. If you want the book, it's $125 or more for the early bird version.
Only until when?
Yeah, 9 a.m. on February 9th. So we might be past that, unless you're watching live.
Don't delay. It is a 2-volume, 1,216-page hardcover book inside a custom slipcase. Yes, it will be more expensive if you don't rush to Kickstarter and search for Shift Happens. Congratulations, though. 2,500 backers.
Thank you. We just hit the number this second. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Really good news. Glenn, thank you for coming on. I just wanted everybody to know about this and give them a chance to get in on the early bird before it was too late. The early bird ends tomorrow, yeah?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Get in. So those of you watching the show next week, use a Wayback Machine or watch live in the future.
Right.
From now on, you must watch live. And you have till March 9th to get in on the Kickstarter.
That's right.
Fully funded. Good news.
Wild.
Do you have stretch goals if you get past the base amount? Is there?
We have some ones we're hinting at. It's funny because Kickstarter technically doesn't. They don't encourage or discourage stretch goals. This is the biggest Kickstarter I've been involved with personally, but I've done a bunch of campaigns, and it's interesting to figure out what motivates. It's kind of like the unseen hand of the market plus the amount of love and respect you've established among people turned into a gumball machine, and you're like, all right, I've put it all in there. How many people are going to turn the knob and gumballs come out? And so we had some loose ones. We actually are going to add a third volume that's going to include kind of a little bit about how the book's made, the printed form of the index. So this will have a 1,200-page book. We squeezed everything we could into the 2 volumes. The index was sort of going to be maybe digital only, but now at the point it is, we'll print the index in the 3rd volume. That'll also go in the slipcase.
Well, don't print up the profits. Keep the profits going.
No. We all very carefully.
So Glenn, so the book I want to write next. I'm writing a different book right now, but the book I really want to write, as you know, is the history of the linotype.
Yeah.
And so you inspired me. I was thinking, well, what would it be like? I'm not going to make something as gorgeous and ornate as this. And I was trying to think about just the basic economics of a book. If you sold a book for $20, not $125, with print costs and such, what's a critical mass look like for a lower priced thing on Kickstarter, you think?
Well, it's interesting because you could, this is something I could unfortunately go on for several hours about, and I promise not to, but it's, what the real economics winds up is being kind of shipping and binding. So if you're willing to ship only to the United States, it's very easy to ship, and you can get a very predictable price, and the only tax you owe is typically in the state you're shipping from to people in the state you're shipping from, with some exceptions, but you don't. If you're shipping overseas, we found I've shipped a lot of things overseas. I've done some projects that have shipped hundreds or thousands of items outside the United States, and those prices used to be more predictable, but now you have to pay excessive amounts of money, and then the people who get them may have to pay from 10 to we heard 27.5% VAT on the imported item that we can't really collect it ahead because there's 200 countries, and we'd have to have arrangements with each of them, so they have to pay the shipper. So the way to do a book really affordably is you settle probably on black and white or black plus one other color. You do a self cover or not self cover rather, but a soft cover book with perfect binding, so it's glued on the side instead of sewn, and you ship only to the US. And if you do all that, you are reducing your worldwide audience, so you're reducing the scope of who you can sell to, but you reduce the complexity, and you also open yourself up to hundreds of more printers who could handle it. So there's a very specialized group of printers in the US and more around the world who can do a hardbound book affordably in full color. And so that's kind of the secret, is like US only, perfect bound, so glued binding, soft cover.
Yeah, but who wants that? I want sewn in signatures.
Well, that's the thing.
I want a nice.
Yeah.
That's
the thing, right? So that's
I hate
why
it when a book
went for the
that
gusto.
you've opened a bunch, pages start falling out because the perfect binding glue releases, and now you've got just a pile of paper. I don't.
That's exactly it. I mean, the sewn stuff. If you want a book that lasts, I told Marcin, and I believe it, that I think this is the most exhaustive book clearly it's ever been written about keyboards. It might be the most exhaustive ever, because who would do this again?
Right.
The amount of effort. Someone else would have to say, like, I'm going to put
it's a contribution.
7 years of my life to write another thing like this. So Marcin already wrote it.
What? Okay, so before we let you go, what keyboard do you use? What's like your
I
favorite?
use the Matias Quiet. I think it's called the Quiet Touch, and I think I go through. This is no discredit to Matias, because I love their keyboards, but I type like a million. I'm like Stacy. I'm sitting there going on my keyboard also 1,000 keystrokes a minute or whatever, and so I've gone through. I think I've owned 6 or 7 Matias, like the Tactile Pro, the Quiet Pro, over since they started. So I used to love the Apple, that fantastic extended keyboard, and Matias bought, as I recall, the key molds from the company so that they could make them. And when they started making keyboards, they had to put an order in, I think, for 1 million keycaps, and they managed before Kickstarter to get enough pre-orders to put the die injection mold order in. And that's, I don't know, is that 20 years ago now? So I run through them. When I say run through them, every 3 to 5 years, I have destroyed the keyboard. My alien-like acid of my fingertips has worn down all the keys, and I got to get a new one. And it's a great tax. It's like my $20 a year tax to get a new keyboard every few years.
Matias was a sponsor for a long time. I have a lot of Matias. Yeah. And I a number of their keyboards, and I love them all. We were talking before the show about quiet typing versus loud typing. And as much as I don't like the short travel keyboards for on air, I have to use them because they don't make any noise. But I love it.
I could make them make noise.
Yeah.
Yes, you could, Stacey.
Yes.
They scream with every touch.
You got to this one because the F key is coming off now, and I suspect that Stacey did that. So
I tell a story about the. Do you remember Carrie Lou, who was a lovely technology writer, wrote a lot of Mac stuff? He passed away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Carrie, wonderful fellow, lived up here in Seattle, died about 20-something years ago now. Carrie came in my office one day, and he sees a keyboard in the garbage. And he said, "Why'd you throw that out?" This is before electronics recycling. I'm sorry. This was 90-something, 96. And I said, "The Q key stopped working." He said, "Why would you throw out a perfect good keyboard? Just put the Q on the clipboard and paste it on the
Paste it when you need
and
it.
just paste it in whenever you need a Q. How often you need a Q?" And he took it, and I'm sure he used it.
Wow.
Isn't that the best? That's the perfect Carrie Lou story.
All right.
Actually, everybody here except for you and me makes their living typing, right? So I think that this. So what do you use, Stacey? What do you bang on?
My banger is just this ancient Microsoft ergonomic keyboard.
Oh yeah, those are good.
I mean,
actually.
Yeah, and then I want to design. I have my little cherry kit to pick but I can't tell which one, and then I get a little OCD about it and a lot of anxiety.
It's hard
so
to
I
choose,
can't,
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, and the little key things, I gotta type I gotta type on the whole thing. I can't just type on like one key. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the good
I'm looking
news
at this
is
Matias stuff.
Like the people are really into it now. Cherry's old hat. There's there's Keychron and there's new companies doing keys at switches and stuff. The Matias Tactile Pro, I think you would like. Are you using a Mac?
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and I need it, but I need it. Like I was looking at, they have a split ergonomic, which I would do.
They do have an ergonomic. In fact, you know what? I will package up my ergonomic.
Ooh.
I have it. And I don't use it because it's too weird. I can't, but I will package it up and send it out.
Are you going to send me another e-reader?
There might be a Kobo in it. I'm not saying there won't be.
We got some pictures in the book of those, the history of ergonomic keyboards. I used to use some split ones, and then my hands changed, even though I had some real problems. And eventually, when it sort of cleared up between acupuncture and a bunch of other stuff, I went back to a normal keyboard, and I've been able to use it. But I had the kind, there's ones that look like globes. There's like the ones that you can rotate and split apart and angle, and amazing stuff.
I don't remember what kind I have, but it looks like this. Stacy, and I will find it.
Yeah, the little split. You could, if you hate them, you can put them together, but it's
still horrible. I will send it to you. I will send it to you.
I do this.
Against nature to put together an ergonomic.
Ant's trying to get attention for his keyboard. He's loving it.
Show us your keyboard, Ant.
Mine is just I love this thing. Unfortunately, the battery's getting weak, but this is the Logitech MX keys.
That's a great
it's
keyboard,
so
actually.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Oh no,
man,
I got that, and I had to give it to my kid. I hated that keyboard.
Zero travel. It's like, but I think I have the MX set, and I like that a lot. But I think more and more of us, especially those who type a lot, are switching to those big mechanical high travel.
Right.
High travel.
Yeah. See, I just use mine for shortcuts in Photoshop, Lightroom, and Premiere and stuff. Yeah. So.
How about you, Jeff? What do you use to type?
I just my
you don't care.
Chromebook. What else?
Yeah, he's
Chromebook.
No, I'm just like, your poor little hands. Really?
He's like an atheist in the church. He's an atheist in the church of keyboards. What's going on here?
I just use whatever.
Who here is
a
touch typist? Who here is a touch typist?
Well, we know Glenn is.
Yeah.
That's all the two of us?
43 years of touch typing.
Stacy is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't look at my, what does touch typing even mean?
Do you use the right fingers on the right letters?
See, I'm too
sort
fingers.
of. I'm all the fingers, and I don't need to look at it, but I'm not like a by the book touch typist.
I think the question you have to ask nowadays is who's trained and who's not, because we all, to some degree or other, are touch typing because we just do it so much. But if you're trained and you know that you're the home row and you put your fingers in the right position and all that stuff.
I took class.
Yeah, you learned
I
that.
took class and had a typing tutor on the computer at my
Mavis Beacon.
Was it Mavis Beacon? Mavis Beacon?
There's a chapter on Mavis Beacon in the book. There's a chapter on touch typing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Not, she was a model from the original person was a model from Dominica. She was from the Caribbean.
I remember you telling me
and
that.
she sort of disappeared. Like no one knows where she wound up. I mean, not like it was insidious, but they lost track of her. But yeah, Mavis Beacon has been is a terrific chapter on that. And there's also touch typing was originally like witchcraft. Like people didn't believe when typewriters. I mean, imagine if there was never a keyboard, and then suddenly you have a keyboard, and people are like, I can type without looking down, and people are like, what is wrong with you? That's not the right way to type. You need to look at the keys and look at them. All the original typewriters, you typed blind, so you actually didn't see what you typed. The keys hit down below the platen, so you're like the paper up, right. They were hit right onto the platen, onto the paper that was on the platen, so you couldn't see until you were done typing what you typed. So people are like, you can't touch type, you need to be looking at your keys, it's very important. And there was also a theory that everyone would stop eventually making typos, that typos were a problem of training, not being a human being. And I'm like, but what a wild thing. But when it was new, who knew? You're like, well, we'll be perfected. We'll perfect a teaching technique, and then no one will ever type the wrong key again.
I failed to even get into journalism school, to like take the 101 classes. We had to take a typing test, which was
really
crazy. This was, let's see, I went to my 1996. So I'm like sitting there, and I failed it twice before I managed to pass the typing test.
This explains
I almost
a lot.
didn't make
It was
it
the
to journalism
anger
school.
about typing, Stacy. It was the hostility to the keyboard
Exactly.
that you've lived with ever since. I get it now. I get it.
Glenn, thank you so much for coming by.
Oh, such a pleasure.
Everybody
Thank you
should
for
go
having
to
me on.
Kickstarter. Shift
Yes.
happens. Marcin Wichary, Wichary. I think that'll be enough to Google it. Now's the time to get in before it goes up in price. I think this is going to be great. Can't wait to see it. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Great to see everybody.
Glenn.fun.
Okay, Mr. Glenn.
Glenn.fun. All right, let's take a break while we reset and get ready for the rest of this week in Google with Stacy and Jeff and Ant. Our show today brought to you by Melissa Yes, that's the fourth panelist is Melissa. And Melissa, is a leading provider of global data quality, identity verification, and address management solutions. And once again, congratulations to Melissa. It's been named a leader in G2's Winter 2023 report for their Clean Suite and Data Quality Suite products. G2, which is, I think you already know, the the number one peer-to-peer software review platform, consistently recognizing Melissa as a leader in multiple categories year after year: small business, mid-market, enterprise segments in areas like data quality, address verification, email verification, data governance. Along with leader status, Melissa achieved highest user adoption in the mid-market segment for data quality, number one in the mid-market usability index report. You'll like that. And the Small Business Data Quality Grid Report. Across the small business and mid-market segments, Melissa getting recognition for best usability, easiest to do business with, easiest setup, and best meets requirements, as well as a high performer in the enterprise segment. Melissa, one of the things that's amazing about Melissa, they've been around since 1985, and for a long time. But they don't rest on their laurels or their awards. They're always improving. For instance, they have now added identity verification technologies, both through acquisitions and developments on their own, that makes Melissa even more important to have in the enterprise. Fraud costs you money, costs your customers money. It can cause real problems in your business. This is just one more way Melissa can protect you. Poor data quality costs organizations a lot of money, up to $15 million a year. And, of course, the longer bad data stays in your system, the more losses you can accumulate. Melissa helps you eliminate waste and lost opportunities from incorrect mailings, helps you improve customer satisfaction with seamless real-time identity verification tools. They can do matching and deduplication, which lets you establish a single high-quality customer record, linking all those customer touchpoints. So when your customer service rep gets online with a customer, they have all of the previous contacts, all the information in one place. Everybody needs this. How many times have you gone to a doctor and you didn't know, have all the information about you on your medical record? That happens everywhere. Melissa can solve that problem. And now, working in compliance with the United States Postal Service's move update requirements, Melissa can assure the most current address data through processing in the USPS's National Change of Address database. But don't worry, Melissa is not just U.S. Melissa, through acquisitions, they just did a partnership with TomTom, now has the best data globally, all over the world. And your data is safe with Melissa. They continually undergo independent security audits to reinforce their commitment to data security, privacy, and compliance. They're SOC 2 compliant, HIPAA, and GDPR compliant. Your data is in absolutely the best hands. We're big fans of Melissa, and I know so many companies rely on Melissa for all of this great information they can offer. If you're going to Miami in a couple of weeks, February 14th and 15th, for the World Mail and Express Americas Conference, they will be there at stand number 9. Number 9? So go over and say hi to Melissa. That's at the World Mail and Express WMX Americas Conference, stand number 9 on Valentine's Day. Make sure blow them a little kiss. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today with 1,000 records clean for free. Melissa, they're the best. Melissa, MELISSA.com/twit. We thank them so much for their longtime support of our shows. We support them. I'm really excited about all the great stuff they're doing. Go to melissa.com/twit to find out more and get those 1,000 records cleaned for free. Did you get up at 5:30 this morning? I guess it wasn't 5:30 for you, Jeff, but it was for me.
I watched it. I first suggested, I stupidly sent an email to Leo and Jason saying, "Oh, you're going to cover the Google search event?" And then I saw what time it was, and I said, "No, Leo would be very grumpy."
So we are in a space race, baby. This is like going to the moon. That's exciting. Microsoft, Microsoft's partner, OpenAI, and I can't even say they started it. Really started it. OpenAI put out DALL-E 2, their image generation engine, and then the folks at Stable Diffusion Runway said, "Hold my beer," and came out with Stable Diffusion, which was open source. You could run it on your own computer, generated amazing images. Along comes Midjourney and others. Suddenly there's just a huge barking explosion.
And Google barked a lot and said,
a huge explosion in image-generated AI. Then OpenAI, same people who did DALL-E 2, came up, released ChatGPT, and that blew people's minds. And then Microsoft said, yeah, we did that. Microsoft, one of many companies, including Elon Musk, who put in money. Microsoft put in $1 billion to get OpenAI started and announced last week they're going to put another $10 billion in, and they're going to start including ChatGPT in their Office. They had an event yesterday in which they announced they're going to put ChatGPT in their Bing search engine, which was an all-hands alert for Google, right? This is the one threat. This is the one thing that could topple Google's search, hegemony.
some say.
Well, Google's certainly worried about it. Microsoft has invited every influencer in. There's Joanna Stern from the Wall Street Journal. Somebody just sent me a video from iJustine, who just by coincidence, I guess, was at the Microsoft campus when Microsoft just by chance.
I thought that was just around the corner from South LA.
Yeah, happened to be up there, and she posted this on YouTube. I gotta say, I don't see anywhere sponsored content or anything like that.
I am at Microsoft right now, and they just announced something so incredible that's basically going to change the way that we search the internet.
So this is an ad, not billed as an ad, and I don't know if she got paid or not. I doubt. I don't know. I don't know. It's a little suspicious. Joanna Stern for the at least Joanna was covering it for the Wall Street Journal, right? But did a similarly, this is going to change everything interview with Satya Nadella.
The thing with AI is going to completely change what people can expect from search. We're grounded in the fact that,
So there's a lot of hype around this.
Yeah.
Mr. Laporte, why are people so hyped up about AI in search? Because my little simpleton thought of me doing a quote unquote Google search is I'm typing into a text field of something that I'm looking for, and it's going to return a list of stuff that's probably going to be what I'm looking for within the first 3 or 4 entries, usually, right? What more do I need from that? Why do I need AI to step in and make this a better experience? Why should I get hyped up about this stuff?
Stacy, Jeff, you want to answer, or should I?
Is that a punch, or is that a...
No, I'm glad to do it, but I don't want to dominate. Go ahead.
Stacey, you do it.
I am not a puncher.
I have answers to
I am not a punter.
No, because my dog is making... Hold on. I'm so
go
sorry.
Handle the dog. That's fine.
Give me a sec.
I just
tell
see
you why it makes
these headlines and stuff, and it seems really, really sensational, but I'm like, it's search. What does the common person that's just looking for some information, will they get excited about this, or why will they get excited about it?
Well, let me ask.
They will never know.
Let me ask my Neva, the chat engine, the search engine that I use.
Right, the private one.
No, it's not private. You just pay $5 a month for it. Yeah, I guess if you have to pay for it. Although I think there's a free tier. But let me ask it, why use AI in search? Maybe it will have an opinion. They've been doing before anybody else. Oh, we weren't able to generate an AI summary for you because there are not enough pages or facts to answer it. By the way, that is, no, you know what?
That's doing what it's supposed to do.
Honest.
It's looking. Yeah.
I like it. Let me search for something. Let's see. Is Clemson all that in college football? This is where you need a good football-y.
Just this one.
Weren't able to generate a summary because there aren't enough pages or facts.
Football.
Okay, so yours is not great, but the idea is you can have natural.
Who's the best in college football? Let me just ask you something it can answer. Nothing.
Gotta say Georgia.
Never mind.
I'll give you rankings.
Never
rankings.
Okay, this is not a good answer, obviously. I was hoping the Chat GPT could answer it for itself. But I think here's the real advantage of it. And the reason by the way, I am now all in on Neva. I don't use Google anymore. Yes, you have to pay for it, but that means there's no ads. And I think the results are just as good as Google. And I like the AI because here's why. Often now when you go to Google or anywhere, you get a knowledge graph that shows you, a piece of text that kind of answers your question. Google's always said people don't do search because they want to click a link to go to a website. They do search because they want the answer to a question. So why don't we just give them the answer and then we can put the Wall Street Journal out of business? And this is kind of the idea is GPT on Bing or whatever Neva's using. I don't think they're using ChatGPT, but it's very similar. A conversational text chat engine is one thing it's really good at is synthesizing information from a variety of sources. So if what you say is what I really want is the answer, not a link, you're going to get links. But what I want is the answer. Something that can go and look at 3 or 4 articles, synthesize it, and create a short synopsis for you may well be exactly what you're looking for. And
okay, so the idea of checking multiple sources. So the idea of checking multiple sources and trying to bring the summation,
giving you an answer. No, it's basically like if you asked me to explain something to you, like why does this matter? And then I went to 4 different or 3 different or however many places I could find that talk about this topic. And I come back and I say, Ant, this is important because it allows you to get multiple sources into one succinct answer, which is what most people want.
Here, let me show you a good example. I wanted to know, what is a cyclotron? So I said, how does a cyclotron work? And the AI generated, coming from Wikipedia, NASA, Byju's.com, and Vedantu.com, and it footnotes those, a description of what a cyclotron does, how it works, what you get out of it. And this is the kind of thing, if you asked a kid in 8th grade to write a paper, that's the paper, right?
Yep.
But if you're looking for
the answer,
all
the citing there.
Yeah, and it's cited. And you can now still go to the links, right? And there's YouTube videos and all that stuff. But I like the idea that there often a quick answer synopsizing a number of sources is really what you want from a search. And that's what I think these guys are trying to do.
Companies just
it's like basically like giving you Wikipedia.
It's snippets on steroids. Because you're not driving any traffic to the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or anything else.
No.
You're just taking it.
And if you go to Bing.com right now, the promo box under the Ask Me Anything will give you their example. I need to throw a dinner party for 6 people who are vegetarian. Can you suggest a 3-course menu with a chocolate dessert?
Nobody's going to type that in, by the way. That's ridiculous.
No, that's right. That's normal. So people aren't searching for that.
Okay, but here's what we talked about. We actually talked about this on our show. There's a company called Josh.ai that does its own custom voice engine for smart home use cases. Imagine asking your smart home or your digital assistant, hey, give me a 3-course meal for vegetarians, and then send it to my phone or whatever. But it could actually do that. So what we're doing is, well, it makes more sense to be able to ask it via voice. I guess it can tell you, but then you also want it to send it to some sort of display or keeper. I would like for that particular thing. And I would think most of them, because you're going to get a more exhaustive answer, I would say.
Leo, I have a theory, having watched the Google thing, which we're not on it yet, there's no Leo.
We'll talk to you,
Stacey,
Jeff.
I'll bet you know. What besides search is Amazon? By the way, I just broke down the 4th wall. I wasn't supposed to tell you that. I wasn't supposed to reveal that we can see each other now. So I blew it. I'm not a good podcaster, but I'm an honest man. I tell you when Leo has to go pee, and you all know it. And you can trust me for that. You can trust me more than ChatGPT. All right, Stacey, that wasn't enough vamping. Besides the thing we saw in here's your 3-course dinner next to a bunch of listings, which I actually find more useful because then I have more choice. It's choosing for me. I don't need it to choose for me in this case. So I think it's kind of a dumb example. They also showed, and there's a clip up on the rundown, that when you're reading the example they gave was you're reading somebody's financial results, and it's a 20-page annual report, and you've got a little ChatGPT button on the browser, the Excite browser, and you say summarize this document. And so it does something to your browsing as you go.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm curious for, since Leo actually read more about it than you, or you have read more about it, or Ann has read more about it than I have, is what besides the fancy new Wikipedia box does ChatGPT actually give Microsoft? Because I think that a lot of this hype that we're seeing in the media coverage is, oh my God, Google's doomed. Well, what I've seen so far are neat gimmicks.
Yeah, no,
but I don't think are fundamentally
Google
changing.
Google does think it's a problem. I mean, they're worried about this.
I'm going to get to that, and I agree.
Yeah,
but
I'll
it's
tell you
also
what,
a media problem, a stock problem.
You want to know what Microsoft gets out of it? Just try to sign up for this. And it will tell you, okay, well, you got to make Edge your browser, your default browser on all the platforms.
Hello, Justice Department.
Yeah, I mean, it's the worst. It's like a blatant. First of all, Edge is a terrible browser because it has a bunch of additional stuff like coupons in it that it's just larded with ways for Microsoft to make money and spy on you. So,
you know, Leo, I found when I went wandering down the Microsoft page, because I never use Bing, I went wandering down the page where they have all the headlines. Well, that's interesting. They clearly use third-party data because they had things that I'd bought from IKEA that I never used a Microsoft product.
Yeah.
No way for them to know it.
Yeah.
Google would know it because I searched for it. Microsoft wouldn't. And then second is you click on a news story, it goes to a Microsoft URL.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to...
No. Apple does the same thing. And in Apple News, you can't share an article.
I hate Apple News.
Right?
Yeah.
Terrible. You have to share it through Apple News.
If Google did this stuff, they would get drawn and quartered.
Yeah, admittedly, but all three companies are trying to disintermediate the original sources of the information. And this is the same complaint people have about Stable Diffusion, stealing from artists, because all of the Stable Diffusion stuff is rehashed existing art that it's scraped from the internet. They have the same complaints about ChatGPT. It's scraping from every possible text source. I mean, I think if you're putting stuff on the internet, you're kind of saying, okay, it's out there, but you're not saying it's public domain, and they're treating it like it's public domain.
That's the difference.
Or it's a whole different world. That copyright was made for a very different era.
Yeah, and we all know that one of the reasons there's a limit on copyright term is because all creation stands on the shoulders of the people who went before. Walt Disney didn't invent Snow White. The Brothers Grimm did. Of course, he tried to pull the ladder up after him. As soon as he did it, he said, well, I copyrighted this. But the whole premise is eventually it goes into the public domain. This is what Larry Lessig was really pushing with Creative Commons, and becomes part of the next generation of generative creation. Nobody creates in a vacuum. Maybe we're going to loosen copyright and say, well, you know, in order to promote this idea of artificial intelligence, we're going to allow people to it is transformative.
Well, let's not forget, you cannot copyright information. You can only copyright the treatment of that information. And so it basically, so when Business Insider rewrites the Wall Street Journal, they can get away with that. They can do that because they are rewriting it. They are taking the base information. Can I give you my theory about Google versus Microsoft on this, having watched the thing?
Well, let's talk. Yes, but wait. Let's talk about.
That's why I'm asking. That's
we haven't done
democracy.
We got to do the second part of the story, which is what Google announced, and then we can say what your theory is about it.
Well, is there anything else from Microsoft that you found game-changing, interesting, fascinating?
Not yet.
I couldn't have seen it,
but it's not out yet. Understand? My only experience is with Neva. I think it is game-changing. I do agree it's bad for all the people who created the original information, because you're not going to click links. This is worse than snippets. This is the answer delivered to you. It is.
What if there's a potential rev share there?
Well, maybe there's a way around it. That's maybe what's what we're.
Well, but hold on. We can't trust everything that this gives us, and I think that's. We need to talk about that, because, like, a financial statement, if you're going to pull and cull from that, okay. And it's also old. It's 2021. So
that's
when we look at,
that's all old. What you just said, that's the way the ChatGPT that came out as the test worked. That is not how it's going to work for Bing.
Okay.
So ChatGPT as designed was never designed to be factual.
Okay.
They even said that up front. Said, look, it's going to be wrong. We're not. Clearly. It's not designed to be factual. That's what Stephen Wolfram said when he wrote his article. Is we should work with these guys because Wolfram Alpha is mathematically factual. That's our primary purpose. But it's not with ChatGPT. Maybe if we work together, they would be better. But that's a setting. Similarly, the fact that they froze it at whatever it was, the spring 2021, that's a setting. That's mostly about cost. They could do what Google does. They could be continuously spidering information and adding it to the database. It's just a matter of cost. I don't know, and they haven't said what the ChatGPT used for Bing or Google's with their Bard is going to do. But my guess is it has to be. If it's a search result, it's got to be up to the minute.
Got to be current.
You can't search for something and say, well, this is only good through April 2021. That's useless.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should judge it by what ChatGPT.
But Stacy's still right. Stacy's still right about the primary point here, which is, again, everybody forgets the primary job is to predict the next word, not to understand, not to know what a fact is, not to deliver facts. It almost needs a separate process to fact check itself, because all it's doing is predicting words.
That's how.
Now,
well,
in
again,
some cases,
that's how it was set up. That's what OpenAI's demo was set up. That's not what this, by the way, is going to use ChatGPT 4, right? The next one,
right?
Or is it 3? I can't. Anyway, I've lost track.
It's
of
4. 4 is the next
4.
one. 4 is the next one.
There's nothing to say that ChatGPT 4 cannot be biased towards factualism. Now,
yes,
we should point out that Google, in its demonstration, saying, "Yeah, we got that,"
oops,
made a mistake. Like the first thing
so
they
Google
did.
announced Bard. We should tell people what they did.
So we had talked about Apprentice Bard last week as the thing Google was, every company, including Facebook, has said, oh, no, we got that. It's really interesting what happened, which is, I think, essentially ChatGPT, everybody else was doing this in secret, including, by the way, I might add, China. But ChatGPT and OpenAI decided, let's just release to the public, see what happens. And I think they have a good point, which was we can't go to the next stage unless we get a lot more input from people. That's part of it. It's the same reason Elon Musk puts full self-driving out to the public, even though it's not really ready.
We kill a few people. Well, yeah, but we learn things.
That's how, at some point you got to do that. So
you don't have to kill people, to be clear.
You don't have to kill people.
No, but
I just thank you, Elon.
I agree with the premise that you do have to fail.
You do have to fail.
And at least in cars, unlike ChatGPT, if you fail, you kill somebody, or you may.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, no,
killed
see,
somebody
that's
3
our
years
argument
ago in Phoenix.
We're saying that you shouldn't do that. That we should actually avoid loss of life as our failure mode.
I agree.
What if you couldn't?
We can have failure mode, but loss of life, it's not your innovation is not worth loss of life in that situation.
I agree.
What if you couldn't?
Then you have to say self-driving cars is not worth killing people. And I think that's a fair, we can make, is killing people
worth? What if it kills far fewer people, Stacey? I agree with you, but just devil's advocate. What if?
Well, no, and that's what people say. It'll kill
lives, but not as many.
If you kill 10 people to save millions, I'm not
trolley
utilitarianism.
Trolley.
Yeah, I'm not game for that. Now,
by the way,
you kill a few people to,
that's your personal opinion, but not everybody agrees with you on that.
Well, I know.
Let her finish with the opinion.
And part of that's because with self-driving cars, the life-saving stuff isn't proven yet, and it's kind of a little farther out. I think the closer you are to immediate savings of lives, the more you can so if you were going to kill people to develop a cancer vaccine, that's a little different depending on how many people you kill, right? Because that's a little bit more direct than saying, oh, if we have smarter self-driving cars, blah, blah, blah. So, I agree. These are super nuanced conversations, but yeah. We kind of got off search.
You can, well, but it's all the same. It's like, it's not killing people, but
it is not all the same. That's like tech essentialism right there. It's not all the same.
You kill a few people, but you save millions is a good thing.
And what it does for the stock price, Stacey? Come on.
Look,
I hate to point out, but this is how human civilization works. A war happens because and it's going to kill people, but it's for a greater good, right? This is human. Well, I don't. Yes, I'm a pacifist. I agree. I think
it depends on your war.
I think if we hadn't fought the revolution, King George would have given up eventually anyway. So we could have saved some lives.
Canada's nice. I'd like to be more Canadian.
Nothing wrong with Canada.
Canada's nice.
But this is the story of human civilization. You can't deny that. We've always medical trials. People die.
Clinical trials.
People die.
I know.
We don't
but that again is that is a different gradation that is closer to like immediately saving people, having a medical trial that actually does something. Although I would argue you would have to have certain efficacy rates to like test that out. But just to say, I mean, because self-driving vehicles, are we talking about self-driving vehicles? Or are we talking about like,
well,
we're just talking in general. Just
but if you had a search term that like, I don't think risking someone's life for like, let's say you were like, here's a great cake recipe. Let's make it with bleach. And that was what was coming up on your search term.
That would be bad. But the good news is
that is not worth the loss of life.
Some person would die, but we'd never do that again.
Okay, we know already that we never should do that.
That's a good point. I mean, but can you stipulate that there are some things that you have to put this out in the public to find out?
Well, if you can
but
get feedback.
You're also assuming we can put it out into the public without any sort of guardrails, like without thinking for a hot second, like, oh, wait, how could this be used to like really injure or harm people? And then try to predict what those are and guard against them.
Well,
that would be the responsible thing to do.
OpenAI did do
as opposed
that, because
to,
you can't go into ChatGPT and say, build me a Molotov cocktail. On the other hand, they didn't think people were as wily as they were. And they learned from doing that there are ways to trick ChatGPT and telling you how to build a Molotov.
Well, yes. And they'll figure that out. That is fine. I mean, that is what people do. That's like hacking.
Right.
Hacking.
It's hard to predict how awful humans can be.
Well, people can also trick it for
has
good.
Proven that.
There's a long history of both Microsoft and Meta putting out AI bots that immediately went bad. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is not new, but it seems to OpenAI's contention is, well, we have to at some point. And I think they're probably right. You can't develop this stuff in secret forever. At some point, well, I mean, what's the point if you never put it out?
Right. But they did it right. They thought about malicious use cases and tried to predict and put those guardrails in.
So that's
and then
what Bing's
they'll continue.
Do. And that's what Bing's going to do.
And monitor for it.
And that's what
or we'll
presumably
judge them
Google's
going to do
well. Yeah.
We'll judge them.
So there's two questions. First
Google.
of all, is it worth it to do this? That was Ant's question. And are you satisfied that there are some value in doing this?
I got nothing out of it yet.
Okay.
It still just seems like a pretty shiny layer on text or information that we need.
I agree with
We're still going to end up just probably clicking through to a story or a link, hopefully, versus just going off of that.
I don't think you will, Ant. I mean, for certain things, like if you're researching the best new.
Yeah.
But like, I think more and more often, like, which president was assassinated in his bathtub? I actually don't know, but
none of them.
Not have been any.
None, I don't think.
Which president was assassinated?
No, I think there will be, some use for it, but the way this has been sensationalized, I think it's just a little overhyped, in my opinion.
Here's an example. I asked, is it better to turn off my computer at night? This is a question we get a lot. And there are links to there's a guy named Leo. Should I ask Leo.com? Not me, not related. But anyway, there are a lot of answers to that. But look at so Ant, you said, well, I would end up clicking on none of these, but look at the answer that the AI from Neva gave me.
Yeah. That's legit.
And it kind of is the answer, right? You don't need to go any farther than that. It gives you three different sources.
Yeah, that's legit.
So I think at this point this is what you wanted all along.
Okay. Yeah, that's legit. That answers my question.
Okay. So that's question one is there a reason, is there a benefit to doing this? And I think we can agree there's potentially some benefit to doing
There's
this.
potential benefit.
Yeah. The next
overplayed media right now, but keep going.
Yeah. The next question is, should we do it given that sometimes it'll be wrong or there'll be problems with it? Is it worth doing it? Should we be doing it now? Stacey, should we be doing it now or should we wait?
We should be, yes, we should be doing this now. I think when you're doing it, though, you need to say, hey, this result was generated by AI or
some type of
however you want to do it. But yeah, and this is a good use case for it. And hopefully there is. The other thing I would say you should have in something like this is a a feedback form that's really accessible for like, you just told me to make a cake with bleach kind of situations, or this is like, because I think one of the things we miss a lot with deploying AI is having the ability to easily give feedback that's listened to and acted upon pretty quickly to fix things that are biased or just absolutely wrong, right? You shouldn't have to be a famous person on Twitter to get attention to a problem.
Yeah. Do all of these security cameras that have AI that just says, all right, this is a person approaching, this is an animal approaching, and you send this, do they actually take in the feedback within the apps that people submit, say, no, you got this wrong, or is that just...
Some of them do, some of them let you tell them, some of them don't. It really just depends.
Here's what Neva does. I keep using Neva, except that they beat everybody to the punch. Nobody, they're not a big name, but they beat everybody to the punch. They have
You're giving them all the credit.
Not yet.
Right at the top, it says, is this useful? So you have a place you can immediately give them feedback, right?
Nice.
They have a share button, too, which is kind of interesting.
That's another metric.
How do I tie a slip knot? To tie a slip knot, take a bight of rope and wrap the tag end around the bight once or twice. Hold the loop and pull the end to tighten.
What's a bight?
What's a bight? I don't know. That's the next question. Pulled that from a bunch of 5 different websites, including Wikipedia, 101 Knots, WikiHow, Net Knots, Animated Knots. And then it gives you what you would expect, which is the videos and all that stuff.
I do like the idea that it says, you know what, these are a bunch of different sources, because I hate that a lot of people depend on one source for all of their information.
Yeah,
and that's all they trust.
Yeah, and this way you don't have to click through 3 links.
Right. Yeah. And then, by the way, so here's is this useful? And then you have a thumbs up. Yes, it's great. No, I'd like to report a problem. Let's report a problem.
What's a bite?
It's a bite.
Yeah, stale, outdated information, incorrect answer, mixes up people, not comprehensive, nonsensical, or other. I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
how do we tell them
recommend?
we don't know what a bite is?
So I think
I could put that in.
It should also have do they have this is harmful, or this is offensive, or this is...
Yeah, they should.
They don't. They have other, which you could then say offensive.
Like, I feel like you need a super like alert category, right? Like,
yeah, that's true. Like,
so we don't know what a bite is. That's not a problem.
They also have remove one of the cited sources, which is interesting. Like, that source wasn't a good source. You shouldn't.
That's good. That's good. Like it.
This is how you develop this. And there's a lot of problems with it. Neva sometimes says I can't, or my servers are over, burdened and so forth. It's just a little company. I should
Scooter X is telling us what a byte is. It's a fold in the rope or U-shaped section of rope being used in making a knot.
There you go.
Good. Are we going to get to Google?
Google's AI chatbot. They announced Bard, which we had mentioned was last week. Google said to everybody, all hands on deck, use Bard. We got to apprentice Bard. We got to get this up to speed. So they tested it internally. And now, as of 5:30 this morning, Google says we're going to put Bard in. Did they say when they're going to put it in their?
No, they said that they are. Well, it was fascinating because I watched the whole thing. They said, what's his name? Prabhakar came out, and by the way, made a mistake himself. He said that today was the 25th anniversary of Google search. No, this year is not till the end of the year. He had to correct himself. It was issues.
Facts are hard. Let's put it. Let's.
And then they got ready for the live demo with the phone, and the phone was missing. Gone.
It was gone.
It was gone. It was gone. They had to use a search engine to find it. Yeah, something's gone. France. I don't know.
They found it. Wait a minute, they find my phone and they found it.
No, it was gone. It was gone. So,
wow.
So, and they made the mistake.
This tells you that this was rushed, that they were freaking out. And they said, Microsoft announced it. Yes, we got to.
Well, because I think it's mainly a pressing. My point later will be about marketing, but let's get to the details of what they said. So they said that the interesting thing was they kept pressing again and again and again. It was interesting how we're doing this safely. ChatGPT could go rushing out there because it's ChatGPT. Facebook and Google have been doing both tons of AI work, but they're scared to death because every little mistake, as we see today, is going to get blown up. And so they kept on talking about how we're doing this safely. We have trust in people judging this. We're going to put it out in the right way. We're going to put it out there time. No promise of time. But we're going to have this really neat thing that's going to do all kinds of stuff. And then they went on, it was almost like an IO thing where they went on with other things that they're doing that are neat. Some of this is in the changelog and elsewhere. Enhancements to translation, enhancements to maps, multimodal search, more things with Lens. So they tried to do a comprehensive, and they said, Prabhakar said, search is still our number one moonshot. Search will always change, but the moon moves, he said, and it'll always change. And so they had a large IO-like list of all the things we're doing. Well, I'll make my point now real quickly, which is Google, I think, is far way ahead of Microsoft and AI. Microsoft had to go use ChatGPT. Google does have all kinds of neat things, but it's a marketing problem to a great extent because I don't think to use Lens. I'm not going to think to use multimodal search. I'm not going to recognize that translation is 10% better. And they have all this work and all this wonderful stuff. It's a much more nuanced story, but they don't know how to tell the story at all. Microsoft comes out and says, look at this shiny toy we just added to our old Buick. Isn't that cool? Everybody said, yeah, nice paint job of that old Buick. Can I take a spin? Yeah, great. And that's kind of where it is now. Google has, this monster thing, huge thing, and Microsoft has a Buick with a new paint job.
Here's the reason that this is an issue. Yeah. Because for all of the great stuff Google does with Translate, that's AI. Right. With Lens, that's AI. The one thing that makes Google money is ads on search. And if a Buick comes along and steals the moneymaker, doesn't matter what you got in Translate and Lens.
Right.
And so they're threatened.
You can have a self-driving car or cab and yeah. Right.
It's an existential threat to Google.
Well, this is where I'm gonna disagree a little bit. Because I think that the media hype has been ridiculous today. Because they're dying. They're dying to say Google's doomed. And what little I can play with the ChatGPT stuff, the demos and that kind of stuff. Oh, okay, but I tweeted today, I'm old enough to remember when DALL-E was changing all of our lives, and I haven't heard DALL-E talked about in quite a while. And I think that there's this rush. It's part of what Ant's saying. There's this kind of rush to the shiny thing in media and the desire for Google to be vulnerable because it's a good story, if it is true.
Well, that's how we get people to read our stuff.
I know.
That's
what's wrong with media. And everybody blames the internet for that, and we invented it.
Okay, that's not true. So, we did this before the internet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We invented sensationalism and the attention-based.
Well, and that's because that's what people read.
It's what we fed them. It's what we trained them to read.
Damn it.
Well, but see, if you have like Joe Blow who's sitting there who cares about his life and like the Super Bowl or whatever he cares about, if you want to make him care about something else, you have to make it exciting, right? So basically, we're just trying to push something that people don't really care about and make it exciting.
Ant's going to say, no, you're insulting me, and that's why I don't like you news people. Right, Ant?
No, I'm not trying to insult. I'm just saying, Ant probably, okay, I know you can, Ant cares about photography and Google and anything he's doing for his job, so he'll click on this. But, if you don't care about that, you've got to really make an effort. So maybe Ant doesn't care so much about fashion, but if someone, does something.
I'm the weird one in this group because even with some of the photography related news that's out there are some things I will refuse to click on because they will sensationalize the headline and say something totally outlandish. And I'm like, you're just wrong for this. You haven't earned my click on that.
Ant is the demographic.
I'm on Team Ant.
Ant is the demographic that drives advertisers and creators crazy. Because
I don't want to look on YouTube with the thumbnails and you making the weird faces and I refuse to click on your video.
We can't reach you. It's driving us crazy. How do we get Ant to read this? We can't. I think to some degree, Stacey, it's to get people to read something they're not interested in, but also to some degree, it's trying to write stuff for the things people are interested in, right? If you found out everybody wants to know more about Pez dispensers, you'd do more articles about Pez dispensers.
Well, yes, that is 100% true. But I think originally it's really just a desire to to find the narrative that gets people to read the story, especially because if even originally at your most noble self, right, you're trying to get people to care about something you care about. And how are you going to get them to care about it?
That might be where you went wrong. And what you should really just do is write about the things people care about, as dumb as they might be, and stop trying to convince them to pay attention to stuff that you want them to care about.
Stacey, I'm in the autumn of my...
Nobody cares about city council meetings. Just give up.
But they should care about it because it matters to their lives.
No, but there's a baby fall out of a 3-story window. Now tell me about that.
So that comes from the Telegraph. That comes from mass media. That's an invention.
No, that's humans.
Later in life.
No.
Well,
humans.
Yeah, there's witchcraft and all that before.
No, but humans care about other...
I thought we had some standards. I'm at the autumn of my career, folks. And I'm ashamed of my business. I'm ashamed of my
shouldn't be. Because all this comes from from gossip originally, from what people talked about over the backyard fence. And that's the things people care about. And it's embarrassing because we don't really care about the city council meeting or what Joe Biden said at the State of the Union yesterday. We care about, did you hear that the Tasty Freeze down at the corner went out of business? But in media, we care about everything that the internet is accused of. Media invented the attention economy, sensationalism, trying to manipulate people's emotions, trying to addict them. All of that starts with media. The internet is in a temporary phase of trying to copy that. I'm going to defend media. I think they're just trying to meet people where they're at, and we care about celebrities. Okay. That's how we are. Okay. That's how we are.
They're trying to make money. Everything you accused the algorithms of doing is what media people do. And the algorithms are just trying to copy what media people have taught them to do all these years, which wasn't always the case. Yes, there was witchcraft in early printing. Yes, early printing caused all of that. It's in my book, coming out in June. Look at me. I'm trying to tell you something.
Isn't it possible to interpret it your way, that it's malicious, and my way, that they're just trying to meet people where they're at?
There's a middle way, which is to say, what's the motive that's involved, and if it's informing people, if it's entertaining people, entertainment is a fine thing.
Well,
right?
You'd be dumb to publish a newspaper that nobody wanted to read.
If it's to do what you just said a minute ago about Google and ads and all that, that's exactly the problem. Is we're in an early phase here of the internet where it has adopted the business models that were known in media. That's why people think it's media. And I think we've got to break free of that.
But so
the worst of media is now on the internet.
There's two reasons I might choose what I wanted to do a podcast about. One, because I care a lot about it, and I'm just going to do it because that's what I like to talk about, which is, by the way, how I do it. Or the other is to do something that serves your audience, that your audience is interested in.
Can there not be an intersection?
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Well, you're lucky if your thing you care a lot about. It turns out the thing I cared a lot about, some people, not a lot, not the vast majority. We're not producing content that, competes with TMZ by any means, right?
This is not Good Morning America.
This is not, and it never will be. And I don't even feel
Good Night America.
But I don't feel any pressure to make it more like TMZ. Who did Bill Gates sleep with last night? I don't think we need to do that. But I happen to be interested in technology, and there's a certain amount. There's enough people who are interested in that our content is of interest to them, and we can make a living. I don't think that's
I'm not saying it's all corrupt, but I'm saying that the corruption that the internet is accused of are corruptions that came from media. Mass media,
I am the internet.
Economy,
I am the internet. I think the vast majority of the internet is people like us. People write a blog about something they're just. It's Glenn Fleischman doing a book about keyboards.
Yeah. I think this is our escape hatch. I agree. The internet is our escape hatch from those corrupted media models. But I sat in newspapers.
Ant is our antidote because Ant isn't going to look at that crap.
Says, screw you all.
Ant's going to read the article that's about a camera that doesn't have sensationalism in it, doesn't have some guy going, whoa. It's going to be about the camera.
If the headline says new camera announced from manufacturer so-and-so, I'll click. Okay, what did they announce?
You're the antidote. You're how it should be.
And Ant, would you rather go to the Nike site or the story about Nike?
I'd rather go to the Nike site because Nike is the source.
Key too.
Ah.
Yep.
But what if your search engine gave you the information you were looking for?
There we're full circle. There we are.
Mm-hmm.
So you go
as
into,
I started at the beginning of this, if I'm searching for something, more than likely, I'm looking for the link to whomever I'm talking about. If I'm searching for Nike, I'm looking for that first URL to say nike.com/topic, have you, you know?
Is Ant short?
But that's me though.
Well, but I'm saying you're the right, you got it right. And I bet you a lot of people are like you. I know I'm like you. As soon as I see a YouTube thumbnail, somebody going, "Hey, you won't believe what happened next." If I see an article that says you won't believe, I won't read it. I won't.
Yeah, scroll right past.
And I think that partly that's because you and I have been burned so many times. We're now rebelling. Right?
We also know how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
Because we're in the sausage factory.
No, we aren't. I am the internet.
You know, I looked at, there was a video and I put it in Discord in the channel there. Jared Poland, who I love, great photographer in Philadelphia area, big YouTuber. I've always watched him because he pretty much tell it like it is and, you know, don't really hold back. And he has good information. And there was a recent video that talked about shame on Adobe, yada, 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 because at the time there was a news story about Adobe allegedly just stealing your images and your information to feed into its AI.
Right.
And when that happened, I was like, this is bunk. Because I remember when my Adobe Creative Cloud went through its update, they give you a screen of what's being affected. When you do this update, this is what's going to happen. And in that screen, it mentioned feeding the AI and how you can just opt out.
Oh, so they said
I
so
did.
up front. Yeah.
I did. This story came out and I'm like, what? So I went and looked at mine and I had already opted out. Why? Because this was months ago.
Right.
when they released this update.
I think in that case, it might be a little cynical on that YouTuber's part because he kind of knew that.
Well, no.
Well, there was everybody talking about it. He wasn't the only one. It was a hot story at the time. And I didn't
I think
watch
sometimes people notice, like, I mean, we see this all the time in the smart home where I'm like, holy cow, look, you can do this. And then, you know, I'll write about it because I found it helpful or useful. I'm not trying to tell people this is brand new. I'm just like, hey, this just happened. Like Kevin just did his hearing aids with his iPod 2nd generation Pro, whatever they are. And people loved that. It's been out for months. Many people knew about it. We weren't saying it's new, but people learned something. So I don't always think that's
not what happened with this story, Miss Stacy. What happened with this story was people were saying, shame on you, Adobe.
They're stirring up outrage.
When Adobe was straight up saying, look, this is what the update's going to do. You can opt out right here. And of course I did. And I don't know if everybody else did, but I did. So I didn't think anything about it.
Okay.
I think Jeff is finally coming around to what I've been saying all along about Google, which was that if Google had just stuck to their knitting and given us search results, instead of buying all these companies and doing all these recommendations, they would be in a cleaner position. But really what it is now, it's all about link bait marketing. And
I'm going to agree in a way. One of the people on Mastodon where the discussion is much better than Twitter, and we'll get to that.
Well, today you couldn't even tweet. Did you see that?
Yeah, I could. Well, I can again. So, but Musk is going to limit it, but we'll get to that later after the next commercial. So, somebody said to me on Mastodon today, well, the problem is that part of my point was that Microsoft can show me its shiny Chrome. Google, I have to ask for it. I have to say, oh, there's this thing called Lens. I have to know to use it and so on and so forth. But then somebody came in and said, well, you know, the problem is that Google's saying we have all this technology and how can we make you use it? Which is the same problem with media, right? I have this newspaper. How can I make you buy it? Rather than going back and saying, what do people need? And I remember way back in the day, Marissa Mayer at Davos, when I talked about hyper-local, and she said, no, it's going to be hyper-personal. And she was right. She was, the idea was Google knows you well enough. Now, of course, that's scary. That's creepy. That's data. That's awful because Google blew it and the whole industry blew it in scaring people off and letting media scare people. But that's where it should have been going, is that Google is truly your assistant. That's why they use that word. And they didn't really fulfill on that promise. So you and I are also agreeing that in the way I'm sad about 120 closing, but I think your point is right, that was stuff that was off focus. So what should their focus be in terms of service?
But Larry Page said it when he started Google. He said, we can never take advertising because that will pollute our results. They knew it, but they said we have to.
But there's no other way to support it.
There's no other way to do it, or for whatever reason.
Wall Street wants it.
Yeah. A lot of that, you could blame Wall Street. I mean, this Neva is interesting because they know they have to pay for it. It's not cheap. So they say, we're going to charge you $5 a month. Is it worth it to you not to have ads and to have kind of search results?
So I think this is an underreported story, which is the idea that we're in the middle of a transition where we're going to start paying for things that we once associated with being free because we value our data. Soon, even if you think about ChatGPT and things like that, possibly accuracy and
privacy.
I know more and more people and privacy. And
but
so
privilege rears its head here. And
but
in disinformation, misinformation will be free.
Stuff should
be abundant.
Look, stuff wasn't free. I mean, stuff always
you still had to
cost
buy
something.
a paper.
Yeah.
Whatever the reality is going to be, that conspiracy theorists will get everything that they want in life for free. People who want quality news and information will pay. And we're going to face the fact of what that does for democracy.
Notion that
I don't care about should.
I think this notion that stuff should be free came from the internet.
I didn't say should. I just said that the reality is
people
that
expect
crap will be free and quality will be expensive. And there's going to be an impact on society from that.
So I don't know about that. So maybe on the internet, you're paying for a couple things and getting quality content, but there's always going to be aggregator type services that will be free and have an ad model, kind of like TV news.
I got a counterexample. How about this counterexample? TV used to be free. It was ad supported free. You had 3 channels. You watched whatever was on. People now are willing, if she demonstrated, and we do it, we pay more for content than ever before in history, hundreds of dollars a year for every one of us. Very few people expect content to be free. Netflix, we're all paying for something. That's a counterexample.
Not a lot of OTA people out there.
There are, but they're a minority. Maybe they're the conspiracy theory jobs. I don't know. But I think that's a good example of what Stacey's saying, which is we're going to realize there's value in some of this stuff, and we're going to pay for it because it's better that way. And I think that's happened with television.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I'm dying for pay for algorithms and filters for social. I'm dying for pay for recommendation engines. I think we're going to end up there. So I agree, Stacey. But I'm also saying it's very Stacey-like of me to say, let's think about the implications of the reality here. And in a world, and truth isn't dead, and I don't believe all that. But for some people, there will be an endless supply of crap and conspiracies. And we've got a societal problem about what do we do? And putting the good stuff behind the paywall, because we get away from the advertising and its corruptions, is going to have a second order effect. That's all.
So I will say one of the problems we had with like the crap and conspiracy theorists is that we had officials who were in power endorse those for their own gain. So it wasn't just a fact that it was happening. It was happening. And then people who were legit were like, yes, it is 100% true that there are children at the basement of this pizza parlor that people are taking blood from for their youth or whatever. So when a senator tells you that and goes on and they let that person on TV to talk about that, they've got both the credibility of their profession, but then they've also got the credibility of a news channel that is cynically pandering to people.
Yes. Again, media. Media.
Yeah. But the only reason that person is on TV,
media.
Well, but the only reason that person is on TV is because of their profession, because they made it out to whatever profession they were. So I mean, social media is a tool, but it's our inherent cynicism and love of power that's really causing us the most problems.
Right. My real issue here, you're right, Stacey. And so many of the problems that we attribute to and blame on technology or media are simply society. This is part of what Leo's saying too. Our society's problems, our human problems. And we've got to separate them out and realize that, because trying to think that the technology is going to solve it when it didn't cause it is going to get us very far.
Right. And that's where we are, like, even trying to regulate hard things like privacy or how many people we should kill with self-driving cars. We seem to think that technology can solve this problem, but it's really up to us to make an ethical and moral stand.
Yes, agreed.
Now, I will tell you something that maybe you get for free, you probably do get for free, that you really should be paying for. And that's our sponsor, FastMail.
Ooh.
I mean, honestly, this is true. I've been saying this for a long time. You can get free email, but what does it cost you to get free email? It costs you your privacy. It costs you, I think, quality. It costs you service. That might be the most important one, support. You have a problem with free email, good luck finding somebody to fix it. And if they cancel your account, good luck finding somebody to turn it back on. That's why years ago I shifted to FastMail, and I have never been happier. FastMail. As little as $3 a month, but boy, it's good email. See, the thing is, free email is not free. You pay for it with your privacy, with lack of support for a variety of things. For over 20 years, FastMail has been a leader in email privacy. At FastMail, your data stays yours with better productivity features for as little as $3 a month. No ads. Your personal data is safe. It's GDPR compliant. FastMail stores your data in the U.S., and when you need support, you're talking to a real email expert in the U.S. who puts you first because you are the customer, not the product. I am a huge fan of FastMail. Let me just run through some of the many, many reasons I use FastMail. First of all, it's real email. They use an IMAP server called Cyrus, which is open source. They contribute back to that open source project. They also have features like Sieve, which is an amazing email tool for filtering. They have an automation system that lets you automatically write your Sieve rules. But when you're in your FastMail email and you see something and you go, oh, I want to make a rule about that, it's as easy as just clicking that email and saying, hey, I need a new rule. And suddenly your email is organized. It's done right. It's the way it should be. FastMail works with any email client because it's true IMAP. Even Gmail isn't real IMAP. They use some non-IMAP features like tags. FastMail gives you the best of both worlds. IMAP folders, Gmail-style tags. And it works with Thunderbird and Firefox and Google Mail and email, whatever program you're using on Android or iOS or a Mac or Windows or Linux. It works. It works with all of them because it's IMAP. It's standard email. They even have a fabulous web interface, better than anybody's web interface. Plus apps on iOS and Android that let you customize your workflow with colors and custom swipes. They've got, sorry, Jeff, night mode or day mode if you like that. You can send, you can snooze, you can use folders or labels, you can search bar, keep track of all the important details in your life. I like FastMail so much. I recently moved my calendars from Google and my address book from Google to FastMail because it supports true CalDAV and WebDAV and CardDAV, so it's absolutely standard. And now I sync up all my calendars with FastMail and my notes too. It works with password managers like our sponsor Bitwarden and 1Password to make it easy for you to create unique passwords for every account, but also unique email addresses for every account, which makes it doubly safe. I love that. Plus, there's the added benefit of if a company you subscribe to sells your email address, you know exactly who did it because they're the only ones with that address. I use the domain manager to keep all my domains at fastmail.com, whether it's for websites or servers, my Minecraft server, because then all my emails handled properly using all the modern authentication techniques like DMARC and DKIM, SPF. FastMail does it right. They practically invented this stuff. And advertisers, sorry, but there's no room for you. Your privacy is at the center. People use FastMail because look at just the reviews of people, and I'll put my name in there too because I've been using FastMail for 10 years, and I could not be happier. I just signed up for another 3 years. I do it 3 years at a time. Those annual prices save you some money. I've tried them all, folks. This is the one. And don't worry about losing information. You can take your old email, move it over to FastMail. You can even, and I have this, have your Gmail accounts active and just have it automatically forward to FastMail. So you use all of the benefits of FastMail, but you don't have to give up your old email address. You can create custom addresses, as many as you want. So I have a domain, leoville.com, but anything sent to @leoville.com goes into my inbox. So I have as many email addresses as I want, an infinite number. FastMail's moving email forward with new internet standards and open source innovations that power other email services. They're the leaders. They're the best. New year, new you, new email. Look, I don't know how to convince you, but at least you can try it free for 30 days. Convince yourself. Reclaim your privacy. Boost productivity. Make email yours with the best email service in the world. And I am not alone. Geeks agree. FastMail's the one. Fastmail.com/twit. And because you're listening to this show, we're going to give you a 15% discount on the first year if you sign up right now. But you have to use that address. Fastmail.com/twit. Fastmail.com/twit. It transformed my relationship with email. It's just the best. Fastmail.com/twit. I've been trying to get them to advertise in our shows for a decade. I'm just thrilled I can finally get paid for the plugs I've been giving them like crazy. Fastmail.com/twit. You know the name Bret Taylor?
Yes, I just saw the LinkedIn thing.
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
What's he doing?
CEO, former something new. Former co-CEO of Salesforce.
And was also
the creator
chair of Twitter.
Yeah.
Chair of Twitter.
Oh, he was the chairman of the board. That's right.
That's right.
And when he was at Google, what did he create? Was it Gmail? It's something.
No.
He's been there for a long time.
Facebook is where I knew him.
It was at Facebook. He was what did he do at Facebook?
He had a startup called Quip.
Sold to Salesforce.
That's how he got at Salesforce.
Oh, he was the former CTO at Facebook.
Yeah, CTO. That's right.
He has paired up with a Googler, Clay Baver, who was, in fact, the product manager for Gmail for a long time, Google Docs. He worked at Google for 18 years, ran augmented reality and virtual reality technology towards the end. So, gosh, this is royalty, right?
He was the co-creator of Google Maps, was the former CTO at Facebook.
Yeah. Bret or Clay?
Bret.
Yeah, that's it. Google Maps.
He was also a founder of FriendFeed.
That's where I first met
Bret's a really nice guy, too.
Love Bret. Bret he's one of the classiest guys in the business. And FriendFeed was amazing. That's how he got to Google. Was it Google that bought FriendFeed? Yeah. FriendFeed was the best social network, bar none. If that were still around, anyway. So Bret, who
he was at Google first, and then he founded FriendFeed.
He left to join.
That's how he got to Facebook.
Facebook, right?
There we go.
Facebook, of course, killed FriendFeed. Well, no, you know what? We've just been around a long time, and this is 15 years of tech history, right? This is.
Yep.
Yeah. So he and Clay have gotten together to launch an artificial intelligence startup. Sorry.
Because all the children got to have
blockchain.
We can make fun of it, but it's clearly it's basically what's happening with AI is like it's going to underpin things like it's going to become an infrastructure type of technology.
Yeah.
And being able to throw computing power at designing these algorithms and then scaling them out over different problem classes is going to be like broadband or mobile service.
Yeah, it could be he's just going to tell farmers when to plant crops. I mean, we don't know what he's going to do with AI.
Yeah, something related to business is what he's saying. That's all he's saying.
He's not saying we're just getting started, but it's going to be an AI. That's smart. I mean, if I were a young man starting out in this world, I might look into AI as well.
He's somebody I'd want to work
43.
That's young to me.
Yep.
That's old.
Or possibly 42.
That's oldish.
I know. I see these things about, I'm 40 now, and I go, God, that's like a kid. That's like, right, Jeff? That's so young.
God, yeah, Gramps.
I would love to be 40.
Oh,
high five, Aunt. Right here in the 40s. Oh, whoops, this way.
40s is the best time. Man, you got the energy, you got the verve, you can still walk.
Yeah. Still obnoxious. Yep.
Still walk.
Still obnoxious.
You could go out there and you could start a new AI startup.
Yep.
Getting right on it.
But I have to say, anything that Clay and Bret do is going to be something. I mean, these two are really smart. I have to say, though, a lot of times these old guys who had great successes in their 20s and 30s don't do so well in their 40s. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he started enough stuff. He's like Ev Williams. Ev kind of done, but he started stuff. A lot of stuff. Yeah,
serial entrepreneur, all that. Yeah, he's certainly got the credentials. I mean, that's a hell of a resume. Nothing more to say except that that's what they're doing. We don't know what and we don't know when.
Yeah, I was like, oh, do you know more? But no, apparently you do not.
I read the Wall Street Journal just like everybody else.
You know what we need, Leo?
What do we need?
We need audio. We need a clip, a soundboard of Stacy typing. So when we have breaking news, it's like Ant.
Oh, that's already. You know that's already Stacey, available. Somebody has already done that.
I'm like,
all right, go ahead. Everybody, be quiet for a bit, and Stacy's going to type, and we're gonna record this and use it.
Ouch.
Okay. Zoom in, center, enhance. Okay, now we have it. We will make that our new bumper. Maybe Anthony Nielsen's so good. He's going to add a little and we're going to have it. It'll be breaking news. It's good.
He is so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the ships at sea, we have breaking news about Elon Musk.
Actually,
breaking news.
That was real. Oh.
There's real breaking news? Play the sound effects. No, we don't have them yet.
I was going to say, do you need me to type again? Go on.
Yes. Type again. Type again.
Oh my gosh, it's so fake now.
Oh, I love Jabber B.
I will say, so you know what my typing thing is? Any child of the 80s will appreciate this. It's the beginning lyrics for It's the End of the World as We Know It.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
So I'm like, that's great. It starts with an earthquake. Type it along.
That's the rhythm? Or are you actually typing those words?
Those are the words I'm typing.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Because if you can keep up, you're feeling really on it, you know? Plus, you've got the kind of like verve happening there. Never mind.
And then we're going to rip it out of the headlines and give it to Jeff Jarvis for this breaking story.
So we were talking earlier about Twitter being down for a while, and all of us were told, even though we tweeted not at all, that we tweeted too much. Hollywood Reporter says at the same time that Twitter is going to place limits on tweet frequency and followers.
So this
I thought they just broke it because they were launching their blog post.
It was a spurious announcement that said we tweeted too much, and everybody got it, including me, and I haven't tweeted in months.
Yeah.
But apparently this was a new thing that will limit users to a maximum.
It's unrelated but related.
Oh, but wait a minute. Yeah. Listen to the maximum. 2,400 tweets a day.
Oh, man, I got to cut down. Jeez.
Who tweets?
You actually might.
100 times an hour.
Bots.
It's all about the bots, isn't it?
It's all about the bots.
We had on our Mastodon, and I had to ban him eventually, but we had a guy who would post like 400 random tech news stories all at once.
Jeez.
And it's like, I got shit. And I know most people can block any, you should know this. On Mastodon, if you don't like it, you just block that person. You won't see their stuff anymore. Or you can.
It costs you money. All that posting.
It's not even that. It's just that I can't block anybody because I have to keep an eye on what's going on. So I had to see it. No one else had to, but it was enough for me. I was like, finally, get out of here. Go away, kid. You bother me. Yeah.
Maybe this is Elon's way of monetizing like Chinese or Russian bot farms.
It might be. It also says there's a maximum of 500 DMs a day, a follow limit of 400 today. So
all of that is good. All of that is really good, frankly.
Yeah.
It's all bot stuff, though.
Yeah, it's bot stuff.
Here is some other news just came out, 3:43 p.m. We have been busy with some updates to the Twitter API, so you can continue to build and innovate with us. We're excited to announce an extension of the current free Twitter API access. Wait a minute, through February 13th. That's
you got
5 days. Wait a minute, what? And then, wait a minute, there's a thread. Is that what that means, Jeff? That when they get the ball of twine?
Yes, my son.
What does that mean? What is that? And how do I do it now?
Now that he's gone from Twitter,
do I click the ball of twine? What do I do to get the thread? How do I get the thread?
You unspool it.
How?
Come on, old man.
Just scroll
down.
Just scroll.
There you go.
What is this thing called Twitter? Paid basic access that offers low level of API usage and access to ads API. $100. Oh, forget about it.
Jeez.
These bots, a lot of them are just some guy doing some fun stuff. You know,
script kiddies, right?
Horse eBooks isn't going to pay $100 to tweet random nonsense.
And researchers can't afford this.
A new form of wait a minute. Okay. A new form of free access will be introduced, as this is extremely important to our ecosystem, limited to tweet creation of up to 1,500 tweets a month for a single authenticated user token, including login with Twitter. Oh, that's all right. 1,500 bucks. That's, what is that? 50 tweets a day. That's probably enough, right?
All right. That's
on February 13th, we will deprecate.
Not if you're live blogging.
Oh, good point. On February 13th, we'll deprecate the premium API, but you're not live blogging via API. You're actually tweeting, right, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yep.
If you're subscribed to Premium, you can apply for Enterprise to continue using these endpoints. This is a new chapter for the Twitter API to increase quality, reduce spam, which it will, right, and enable a thriving ecosystem. We appreciate your patience as we implement these changes. I think $100 is a lot, but on the other hand, the free tier, 1,500 tweets a month, that seems like would be more than adequate for the horse ebooks of the world. This is what Google unfortunately sent out. It's an animated GIF when they were talking about this thing. They said, here's an example introducing Bard. Why, for instance, show this question. What new discoveries from the James Webb Telescope can we tell my 9-year-old about? But wait, one of them is wrong. The James Webb Telescope did not, in fact, discover any exoplanets. That was done 15 years earlier by a professor who was a little annoyed.
I would like to be able to type. I mean, I already type these into Google. Like I often type in like I've got some coconut milk and some tomato paste. I'm like, coconut milk and tomato paste. What can I make? And it will give me delightful recipes.
Well, let me
some
try.
Of which are like.
So Google will do that, or ChatGPT?
This is just straight up normal Google, but I'm wondering if it would be better with like an AI.
Tomato juice and what is this real? What? Give me some real ingredients.
Tomato paste and this was real. Tomato paste and coconut milk.
Really?
I mean, I knew there were going to be other ingredients I needed. I just was trying to use up some.
Okay, let's see what Neva says. No, they got nothing. They just got a bunch of recipes. Legally
That's
healthy.
what I want.
Legally healthy blonde creamy tomato pasta with coconut milk. Oh.
See, that would be perfect.
How about a life-changing 30-minute masala sauce? That's
also
life-changing.
good.
Ant's turned off says, no, it doesn't change my life. Stop doing that. Right, Ant?
How about a 5-ingredient vegan vodka pasta? Or coconut chia pudding. And there's no tomato paste in coconut chia pudding.
Yeah, there's no. I would not put tomato paste. But like those are the kind of it said I saw the cue was what can I use, what can I make for lunch with the ingredients in my fridge? And I was like, oh, that's actually something I commonly type in.
Okay, see? But don't ask it what James Webb Telescope's up to, because that's absolutely no good.
Yeah, so that was one mistake
it's linking me to. It's actually not serving me what it should because it's linking out to recipes.
Which is
so. But
frankly,
if it could just give me a recipe,
I know for the recipe sites it's better, right? you want to just steal that information without going there, right?
God, recipe sites, they're like the worst.
I know.
You like Epicurious, don't you?
Some sites they do long articles, and then they put the recipe. Oh, look what they did.
6 lines.
Oh, look what they did. So I clicked on the recipe. This is Neva for comedian, and it just gives me the recipe.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
And I can even send this recipe to Stacy.
Okay.
Neva.
Oh, but wait, go back. Wait, what did you ask it to do? Because it's giving me sun-dried tomatoes.
What can I make with
tomato
paste and coconut milk? It asks.
Yeah, click that again because I don't think it was actually answering the query correctly.
It has sun-dried tomatoes, no tomato
pasta.
Paste.
So that's not a good recipe.
It does not serve my needs.
It's interesting. So it is extracting the recipe. Ooh, this is weird. Look at this. It's just the recipe.
The no-no.
I love it.
Wow, that's not a snippet either.
You're saying the no-no, Mr. Jarvis?
Yeah, that's taking away traffic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But however, However, for my days at Epicurious, which Stacey doesn't like, I find out.
Their recipes aren't very good.
Look at this, though,
Gourmet, bon
Stacey.
appetit.
Look at this.
They're
Look at this.
super fancy and
That's
not
true.
as tasty as they should
That's
be
true.
for the effort.
Look at
Anyway,
look
there's
at
a
the way
debate as to
that
whether
it's-
or not you can copyright a recipe.
Right.
So that may be what they're hiding.
Look at how this is formatting. So that's ingredients. Then there's instructions. Then there's reviews. All of this without going to the site. But I understand why, because a lot of times sites will have 12 pages of article at the very.
Go to the site now. Let's see how badly it's presented at the site. I'll bet this is a major improvement.
Yeah. See.
Because we got to go through the whole life. Okay,
See?
guys, it's the
See?
first lead, right?
See,
Life changing.
A lot of big
Look at
pictures.
Look at that awesome side lighting there on these photos.
It's nice
though.
photos.
Good
though,
photography, but I still
Probably
haven't
all
got to the
stolen
recipe.
Probably stolen.
There's the recipe.
And this isn't actually bad. Oh, you've got an ad blocker. Because normally what happens is they
I do
use
have
all
an
this
ad
because
blocker.
they want to have ads. Like this will be an ad. Like
Yeah, that's what it is. Sure. Sorry, Lindsay. It's nice to meet you too, former fourth grade teacher. She and her husband Bjork live in Minnesota. And I feel bad because we've just stolen that recipe from you, thanks to Neva. But I have to say, my recipe manager, Paprika, does the same thing. It has a built-in browser. I go to the site. I say, download the recipe, format it, and save it to my recipe box, and I'm gone.
Wow.
But at least they
Pretty
got a
slick.
hit on the web page. They got the full web page loaded, right?
yay.
Interesting.
Did you watch the hearings today?
Who was hearing what?
This was the Twitter
Watch
hearings.
the
This
State
was
of the
Yoel
Union.
Roth and Vijay Gadde and
Tell us what
somebody
happened.
Baker. So this was the Hunter Biden laptop Twitter New York Post thing. And
In what
Aaron Rupar,
court?
bless
In
his
what
soul.
court is this?
This was a Congress. This is Jim Jordan. This is the first of their investigations.
Is this the one where Paul Gosar started to go off on Jews replacing us?
No, not that. I don't think today.
Okay.
If you go at line number 66, you could just pick a random odd video from it.
Okay.
Marjorie Taylor Greene went wacko. All kinds of accusing Yoel Roth of terrible things.
Was she
because
wearing
he
that
filled
really
her
good
account.
looking faux fur coat that she wore last night? That was
Right.
that was attractive. And Kirsten Sinema looked like she was wearing the Chinese balloon,
Yeah.
which is, topical. Former Twitter executives, by the way,
Yes.
testify on the hearing of the Hunter Biden laptop story, Yoel Roth. So give us a summary, the kind of unbiased summary.
Oh, I'm not going to be unbiased at all. The Republicans are out to make a lot of attention, and they're going crazy, trying to accuse Twitter of doing bad things, and the Democrats are making fun of them. And the poor Twitter people just had to suffer through the day.
So Twitter, this is in weeks before the November 2020 presidential election, they limited the spread of the Post articles about the Hunter Biden laptop. 24 hours later, they did allow users to share links to the articles. The main New York Post account was suspended for 2 weeks for refusing to delete its initial tweets.
Right. And Yoel Roth said that he said at the time that was a mistake. And they came back, but it was at the time it was the belief it was the hacked information.
Here's
they felt
the
it looked
testimony.
like the hack of the DNC.
Here's the testimony. It says, at first glance, the story bore a lot of similarities to the 2016 Russian hack and leak operation targeting the DNC. We had to decide what to do, and in that moment, with limited information, we made a mistake. He said, these decisions aren't straightforward, and we wanted to avoid making the same mistakes as in 2016. It's not inappropriate to ask these questions.
But the way they were asked, it's kind of...
It's a little bit,
And the funny thing was, they're trying to accuse the Democrats of interfering, and they got the Twitter executives to say all the times that Trump tried to get Twitter to take down posts. Yep.
Whoops. Yeah, sometimes you don't want people to talk.
Yeah.
This is James Comer, the chair of the committee.
Ugh.
Big tech autocrats wield their unchecked power to suppress the speech of Americans to promote their preferred political opinions.
Ant Stein.
I think on the left or the right, most people, I mean, if they're using Twitter, I'm sorry, Ant really is dying, isn't he? Are you all right?
It's more grandstanding crap from our government officials that we allegedly voted for that do nothing but just sit and yell and want to look pretty, and nothing gets done. Not a daggum thing ever gets done.
Something has gotten done. The U.S. government is working hard on cybersecurity, and we have proof of that.
Yeah, word.
There was actually a story about, let's see, CISA. Here we go.
Is this the Hive? Is this the Hive story
last week?
Is this the Hive story?
This is KillNet.
KillNet. Okay, this is a new one.
What's the Hive story? Hold on, let me see if you've got a story.
Well, the Hive story is from last week. That was when the FBI and other international law enforcement took down the Russian malware, kind of as ransomware as a service. Group Hive, but this is another one. KillNet DDoS.
This is a new one.
Yeah,
and they were going after hospitals, and CISA. Sorry, I said it.
Oh,
wrong.
CISA.
CISA was created as part of our efforts to. We were like, holy cow, cybersecurity is a total mess. This is terrible, and they created this agency a couple of years ago, and they've actually funded it, and it does things, and it's actually helping solve this. So that's good. But two, as part of the omnibus bill, we actually passed a cybersecurity law for medical devices. So now if you want to release a medical device that is connected to the internet, you have to get it pre-certified, which is a big deal. Like you have to run it through the FDA, and they'll be like, did you pay attention to like pen testing and passwords? And they'll be like, yes, because we have to. Because if you say no, they won't let you release it. Mm-hmm. Two, it calls for a software bill of materials. So while Ant is right, there's a lot of crappy grandstanding. There's actually a couple areas where they're actually doing something, and cybersecurity is one of them. So I am very pleased.
What's a health device? Is your fitness watch a health device?
That is not, because it doesn't go for any like clearance before the FDA.
Require
so this
FDA
is like
approval, but
it's only those things.
Like,
some watches do, like the defibrillator in the Apple Watch got FDA clearance, right?
Yeah, if you have like that particular algorithm, but that's not a device. It's
still not a device. Be more like a pacemaker. If you had a pacemaker that for some reason has controlled by an app, and this has been a problem. There have been pacemakers that could be hacked to stop your heart, which would be a bad thing.
Well, and it also, and it includes things like Bluetooth thermometers, because those are five. I always want to say 501(c), but 510K.
Not quite the same.
They're nonprofit thermometers. Yeah.
So this is, and things in hospitals like infusion pumps, which is a thing that we're super worried about.
Yes.
Anyway, it's just good news. Our government did pass it, and I was kind of amazed because this was a law that they had bipartisan support in April under the Patch Act, and then it just totally died. But they snuck it in the federal end-of-year budget bill, and it passed with all the things we wanted too. That was the other thing. They didn't compromise. Okay, that's all.
Last week on This Week in Enterprise Tech, they brought up NIST and the whole cybersecurity push, but looks like it was directed more towards IoT, which still makes sense. Government's doing something about that for cybersecurity. I agree with that, but most of the time it's just a bunch of people wanting to be seen on camera and heard on the social medias and do much of nothing.
We have often excoriated Mr. Elon Musk, so it behooves me to send you the information to celebrate the success of Elon he had his day in court and found not liable over tweets proposing to take Tesla private.
Not liable.
Not
1
liable.
hour deliberation. 1 hour.
Yeah, the jury clearly did not buy the contention. It was a lawsuit from investors who said, hey, we lost money because of this tweet that private equity funding had been arranged, and that he was going to take Tesla private. People changed their investments based on that, and it turned out not to be true. Musk tweeted, "Thank goodness the wisdom of the people has prevailed." It is, by the way, possible to appeal this. 4 years ago, the tweet, I am considering taking Tesla private at $420, funding secured, which it wasn't. He later tweeted, investor support is confirmed. The only reason why this is not certain is it's contingent on a shareholder vote. The SEC fined him $20 million in 2018 over the tweet and said from now on you got to have a lawyer look at your tweets, which he said no, and he doesn't apparently still. So one of the investors testified, this represented a threat to my livelihood. Testifying his belief Tesla would go private led him to liquidate his positions. But the jurors just didn't buy it. They said, no, yes, that's your own damn fault. The jury foreperson who said he wasn't persuaded by the arguments that the tweets were material said, the overall message, it just didn't land. There was nothing in there to give me an aha moment. This is why lawyers hate juries.
Yeah. Do you agree with this?
Oh, you want a yaha moment? I didn't know. Okay, sorry. I'll work on that. During the trial, Tesla board members had sought to distance themselves from Mr. Musk, saying he was tweeting in his personal capacity. That was also persuasive, said one juror. Elon just was doing his own thing. Joseph Grundfest, a former SEC commissioner, professor emeritus at Stanford Law School, shocked everyone when he said, from that perspective, it's a coin toss. Who wants a coin toss when you could just split the baby? That was an aha moment, I guess. I don't even know why he said that.
Mixed metaphors much?
Yeah. Don't toss the coin, split the baby. Didn't Solomon say that? Forget the coin toss. Just split the baby. It isn't the first time Mr. Musk's decision to I'm reading from the Wall Street Journal, to participate in litigation rather than settle has paid off. Remember, he won his case against the British spelunker who he called a pedo guy on Twitter. The jury sided with Mr. Musk. It helps, I think, to be a celebrity. I may be wrong, but I think it helps to be a celebrity.
And male.
And
they
male?
really hate women.
They don't. Yeah, Amber
when women
Heard,
say
she's a celebrity, but they didn't like her.
They didn't like Amber Heard. They didn't like, what's her name? The Theranos lady. Elizabeth Holmes. That's who it was.
In 2020, that's true. She didn't get off did she? No. But neither did Sunny Balwani.
No.
And he was a guy. Still is.
Yeah.
So last time I checked. In 2021.
But he's not white. I wonder if that matters.
He's not white. Oh, yeah, there you go. He has a suspiciously European name. Sunny. In 2021, Mr. Musk was the lone Tesla board member to go on trial in a shareholder lawsuit of the company's acquisition of Solar City. A judge ruled in his favor last year. So Elon is 3-0. 3 for. How do you say that, you sports person?
3-0, sir.
3-0. Thank you. He's batting 1,000.
Batting 1,000.
Math is hard.
Or 3 for 3 if you're talking baseball.
3 for 3. He's over the Mendoza line.
Wait, he's batting 1,000, but isn't a 4? Is it a?
Don't ask.
3 of 3, 100%.
100% is batting 1,000.
Yeah.
Batting 1,000 is 100%. Isn't there something involving 4 in baseball, or am I thinking just 4.0?
Four balls to a walk.
Right.
I'm thinking, is there any other 4? I think that's the only 4.
No,
there's 4 bases if you include.
Well, 4 bases. Even I know that.
Well, but it's not. Is home a base? It's a plate. It's not a base.
It's a plate.
There's 3 bases in a plate.
This is why I hate baseball. This is why you always get into the. Oh my.
Okay, I'm sorry I asked. I was
you should be, Stacey. Oh.
So batting average is you move the decimal over 3 to the right.
Yep.
I thought. Don't you have isn't there like a 4.0 batting average?
You could have a 400. You could be batting 400 like the splinter Ted Williams. You sure could.
Yeah, but
maybe
that's still 40%.
Yeah, even the best hitters.
No one hits 100.
Nobody hits 100%.
But that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, batting 400. Thank y'all. That was helpful.
You could be batting 450 or 350 or 550 or 600.
I got it.
400 is just one number out of, I don't know, 100
anything but Elon. I would rather talk about baseball than Elon.
Wow. Ted Williams had a lifetime average of merely 344. And yet he was also considered one of the greatest baseball hitters of all time.
Tony Gwynn.
And how do you say it? Is
Tony
it
Gwynn.
He was 0.400? How do you say
well,
if you're batting
you say 400, but it's printed .400.
Okay.
So that's the confusion. He was the last Major League Baseball player to hit over 400 in a season, Mr. Splendid Splitter Ted Williams. Tony Gwynn, what was his
Tony
average?
Gwynn was, I thought he was right there at 400 too. So he was pretty prolific.
According to the AI,
Neva says
Ted Williams was the last Major League Baseball player to hit over 400 in a season. But let me see what Tony Gwynn had, because he was a great hitter as well also for the Red Sox, right?
Padres.
Oh, that's
what about
right. He was
that
with the
dude from the
Padres.
Cardinals, Mark
McGuire.
How did we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but he was
Lord,
juiced.
Stacey, this
He
is your
doesn't count.
fault.
Juiced home
He
run.
was
He
juiced.
changed.
That doesn't count. Tony Gwynn's career batting
don't we
average
think
was
that's-
338.
338. Okay.
Again, amazing, right? That's
Still
really, really good, and it's only a
pretty
third
good.
of the time.
What about Pujols? Didn't he
Albert
just
Pujols.
do something like a year ago? And he
Albert
beat
Pujols
Ted
hadn't
Williams?
played
Or
in a long time. That's St. Louis Cardinals as well.
I know. I have a Cardinals fan in my house. So I only hear about the Cardinals. That's the only team I'm ever
Well, let
going
me
to know
see.
anything
Albert
about.
Pujols' batting average, 296 career.
Oh, okay. He did something like within the last year or two that was notable, but I don't know what it was. We don't have to talk about baseball anymore.
He played for 22 seasons.
Yeah, he's old.
Pretty impressive.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, pitchers and batters report soon, don't they?
Around the corner.
Oh, see,
It's almost springtime.
Okay.
And I'm not much of a baseball fan, but I know enough.
Albert Pujols, who bats right and throws right, weighs 235 pounds. Born
Beast.
January 16th, 1980, in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 13th round of the 1999 Major League Baseball June Amateur Draft.
Mr. Jeremy,
Is there
we're
a
supposed to
seventh inning
have the
stretch for
brass
us here?
playing in the
Yes, here's your
background
seventh
now.
inning stretch. You ready? You ready? It's time for...
There we go. There's the brass. Boy, people are going to love this episode.
What the hell is that?
That was the brass for your announcement.
Google Change Okay. Google will soon blur explicit images by default in the search results. So if you want to see those butts, kids, you better turn off that safe search. The new setting automatically blurs.
I can't believe they didn't do that before.
I know. I know. It automatically.
Safe search.
I know. It automatically blurs pornographic, violent, or gory images. It can be disabled by anyone who doesn't have a supervised account. You have to be signed in and over 18. This is yesterday was Safer Internet Day, so this new default search setting for everyone automatically will blur those nasty images.
Even if you have
Could they
adult
also
search.
blur the pimple popping things? Because
Oh,
those
God.
things pop up.
Oh,
Like anytime I see, like, I have to Google like a rash or something, like my kid has shingles, what does that look like or something? I'm like, this is going to be so
I
horrible.
don't want to see that. There's actually a TV show, and I see it in the TiVo listings all the time. Something like Professor Pimple Popper, and I don't know why you'd want to watch that as a TV show
not watching it.
by that name.
I'd rather watch baseball, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's worse than baseball. Safe search, okay, here's to answer your question, is already the default for signed-in users under the age of 18. How does it know you're 18, though? Do you
It knows
give it your
everything.
age?
Google knows everything.
Oh.
Google knows how old I am. If you Google my name, it'll tell you that it knows my spouse. It knows, and I've never told it any of this.
Yeah. The blur feature will be a new item within the Safe Search menu, along with the option to disable it entirely. You can also optionally hide explicit texts, links, and pimples. Disabling Safe Search entirely provides the most relevant results without hiding any pimples. Google is adding some new features for EVs with its built-in Google Maps. It'll now suggest, this is a feature that Teslas have in their own maps, but it's every EV wants this. It'll suggest charging stops. Even on shorter trips, it'll include a very fast filter. This you really need. When you're searching charging stations, you should be able to filter it by the charging stations that have the highest wattage, so you get the fastest charging. And it will show you in search results when a place has a charging station on site. Google adding big support in Google Maps.
And it also knows what your plug is.
It knows what your plug is.
You tell it what your plug is.
You tell it.
It tell you which plug you have. Yeah.
It knows, but it's just as out of a courtesy, it's going to ask.
Yes, I think so.
Even though it knows perfectly well. As if I didn't know. What kind of plug do you have?
And by the way, you're not in your 40s anymore, Liam. It knows that too.
So actually, let me ask you, if you Google my name, does it tell you who my spouse and how old I am? Because when I Google Ant, it doesn't tell me how old he is or his spouse.
I'm doing something right.
Stacy, do you have a Wikipedia entry?
No.
Okay, because that's where it gets all that information about me.
It says you are 44 years old and your partner is Andrew. Yep.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Now, where did it get that?
I don't know where it got it from. I've never.
Is that the knowledge graph?
Panel.
Because I don't see that here. Yeah.
It's
not. It's not.
What are you using? Neva? Yeah, you're using Neva.
Yeah, he's using
Neva.
Neva.
Asked Google.
No, because I like Neva. I'm never using Google again.
I know, but I was asking to see what Google showed people who weren't, because sometimes Google also pulls in personalized.
Do you want me to do it as a incognito or just like as me?
They already did it. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, Stacy, is now this is very fancy. I wish I could show you.
Oh, look at the
pictures. It has
pictures.
fancy pictures of you and your car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it has these little boxes. A partner box.
Somebody else's car. Oh, my God. Look at this. Partner box and age box. That's ridiculous. You're only 44?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get any of that. Stacy gets the glam treatment. I don't get any of it. What about Leo Laporte?
I don't know if I want people knowing my age if they search me, but okay.
Leo gets the, look at Leo's.
Do I get the glam treatment?
You get the glam treatment.
Oh, I do.
Oh, look at
Movies, Hackers Wanted. That's hysterical. That's the movie. I did that many years ago. Hackers Wanted. That's bizarre.
Nice.
That's really bizarre that came up. I don't know why that did. Huh. So that's what Google does. But I'm logged in. What if I do it as an incognito search? Well, I guess it did it for you too, didn't it, Jeff?
I'm doing it for just as myself, and it pulled up the same thing of you.
Yeah, if you're a public
Not much for Mr.
person.
Jarvis, though.
I don't get it. You all three have it, and I don't have it.
They classify us as a journalist. Like when I search Ant, it tells me he's a journalist.
Yeah,
Hello?
I've never been
Just
a
a
journalist,
professor.
even though I did write, but
I
I've never
am
been a
so
journalist.
upset.
Oh, Jeff, let me help you.
Well, look
let
what
me
I
hold
get
your
when I
ego's hand.
type in Aunt Pruitt. In the event of a car accident, it's important not to keep driving. Call the police if anyone is killed
I guess
or
that
hurt.
beats being called a train wreck.
Why am I getting that?
Oh, Jeff, it does know you. It says your wife is Tammy.
Is that true?
That's
You've never said
you're
your wife's
68.
name. You're 68.
sorry, Jeff.
How do you survive?
I know.
God.
I'm in the autumn of my years.
It was a very good year.
Oh, we were doing the changelog. I'm so sorry. I got curious.
It's so easy to get distracted from the changelog. It's interesting how they treat different people differently. That is very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Back to the changelog, whatever that was. Google has announced improved contextual translation features. Wait a minute. This is the wrong article.
It's the wrong link.
No, I don't know
Might be
anything
my
about
fault.
this one, so I don't know.
That might be my fault. No, I didn't put that one in there. I don't know.
Google winds down feature that put, this is not good, that put playable
I put this one
podcasts
in here.
directly in search results. So if I search for
It's taking the carousel out.
I have to go to Google let's see what Neva does. This week in Google. So it used to
You
be
are
the carousel
Neva
would
boy,
have
man.
there's a nice link. For some reason, it's decided to tell me about Google making. It already knows what our stories are going to be.
Look at that, dude. Where is it getting that from?
Wait a minute.
Twit TV, podcast.apple.com, Tom's Guide, ZDNet, thesun.co.uk, and audible.com.
Hey, where is it getting that from? Does it have access to your rundown?
No, it's probably giving us the most weekly information from what's the biggest story in Google right now.
But it doesn't have a playable
that's what we talked about last week.
Playback. So Google, I mean, it does have a link to YouTube. I guess you could go there. But so you're saying if I go to Google, it used to, if I search for This Week in Google,
used to have a well, it still does. It has a carousel.
Not for me.
And I can play from there.
I'm just getting that.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything playable.
Yeah.
That is such a dorky theme song. Jesus.
I love our song. Don't ever change it.
I do not. I mean,
I want something built. I want AI to build a theme song with Stacey's typing.
Our song, that song, and your choir singing your praises to Craig Newmark. Those things bring me joy each and every Wednesday.
How about do you like the new Google changelog theme? Where did that come from? Somebody send us that?
I'm down with it.
Can I get ChatGPT to write themes? Write a new
the music
theme
was the last week, for
This Week in Google. Maybe I could just use it. Would it be legal if I did this?
Yeah.
If
it makes music, I don't know if it makes music.
Well, I don't know.
ChatGPT doesn't sing.
Google, a place of innovation,
a hub of knowledge full of inspiration.
Wait a minute, there's a chorus.
A world to explore. We trust in you, and so much more. Okay, everybody, the chorus.
Wow.
Come on, let's see it again. Let's go to the chorus. Come on.
You
show
gotta be
the
kidding
screen
me.
so we can all sing. You lead the way in all that we do. With algorithms that always come through. From answering questions.
Email and docs. Oh, you're going too fast.
Finding a place. Google.
There's a bridge, so Mr. Jarvis won't cross that. He'll stop right there.
Oh yeah, notice we can. It will just leave him behind.
Oh, Google, you bring us together from far and wide in all kinds of weather. A friend to us all in times of need. Google, you're always trusted indeed.
Yeah.
Our trusted
you want to complain about the current song?
Trusted Steed.
Our
well, you took it off
trusted
the screen.
steed.
I couldn't see it.
Oh, Google, we raise a toast to you for all you do and all that you do. We'll always be grateful for all that you bring. Google, you are our king.
Okay. Yeah. Now, hello, people out there. Somewhere in our land, you got to sing this and put this to music. We need, this is our new theme song. This is
Please don't.
This is it. Please.
Please don't.
Share this, please.
The folks that are listening are way more talented, so do it that way if you want.
Meanwhile, Google launches Android 14 developer preview for Pixel. So if you've got a Pixel and you want to take a look at the Android 14 developer preview, it is out now. This is the 8th year in a row that Google provides an early look at the direction Android is going ahead of the stable launch, which usually happens in the third quarter. For the very first release, there are 5 tent poles, starting with working across device and form factors. Android 14 builds on the work done in Android 12L and 13 to support tablets. And foldables. Users will be able to scale your font up to 200%. That's a lot more than current. A grammatical inflection API will let developers more easily add support for users who speak languages which have grammatical gender.
Grammatical gender?
Yeah.
Like feminine and masculine.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. I was like, what is grammatical gender?
Le port.
La plume de ma tante. To improve privacy and security, Android 14 will prevent apps with Target's SDK version lower than 23, which is Android 6, from being installed. So if you've got old apps, you might want to update those. Streamlining background work. Anyway, a bunch of new features. Get that developer preview. The new OnePlus phone came out yesterday. Jason Howell has it. He did I believe he did a review on All About Android yesterday. He was planning on doing that. That will also appear on our Twit Tech Break feed. Now, the thing that's interesting is they are not going to offer it in any U.S. carriers' stores, including T-Mobile, which OnePlus has been offering their phones in. So without U.S. carrier support, even though this is the first OnePlus phone that supports 5G from all the carriers, you got to wonder if really at this point it's Google or Samsung or nothing. And that's where's the that's it. It's over. Change log. We need kazoos for the end too.
We need to.
There we go.
Google theme
Said
song.
no one ever.
Jammer B rules.
He is awesome. Totally awesome. Okay. Let's do a final commercial and picks of the week, and we can all go home. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm a little feisty. I'm a little peppy today. You know why? Because I got a great night's sleep. Sleep, as it has been said, is nature's gentle nurse. It's the ultimate game changer. And my 8 Sleep pod cover is the ultimate sleep machine. I love it. Consistent good sleep helps with so many health issues, like it could decrease the risk of heart disease. It can lower your blood pressure. There's even some evidence that good sleep, especially that deep sleep that cleans the brain, can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. But more and more in the 21st century, we're having trouble sleeping. Let me ask you folks, friends, do you have trouble falling asleep? Do you wake up, my friends, in the middle of the night? Do you argue with your partner over the thermostat? Well, I can help you. The 8 Sleep pod cover works hard all night long to improve your sleep so you don't have to. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I have the 8 Sleep pod cover, and Lisa and I love it. Love it when we get in bed. And by the way, it's the only cover that has temperature control, dual zone, as low as 55 degrees, that's chilly, or 110 degrees, that's hot, Fahrenheit. It gives you the optimal temperature, and each side gets their own. So Lisa likes it a little cozier than I do. Sometimes she'll say, come on, just reach over to my side, feel that. And I go, wow, that's hot. And she said, yeah. And I say, reach over to my side. And she goes, oh, it's so cool. And I said, yeah. That's a dramatization, but, you get the idea. It's based on not only your own biometrics and your sleep stages, it's based on the room temperature too. In fact, we save money with the 8 Sleep because I don't have to turn on the heat or the air conditioning at night. The worst thing in the world, summertime, it's hot, sleeping hot. Nobody wants to do that. But sometimes even in the winter, you get chilly, you turn on the heat, you wake up at 3 a.m. and you're sweating bullets. Not with the 8 Sleep. It senses your temperature, the temperature of the room, and it keeps you comfortable. And it's an interesting fact that we want to start warm, we're going to bed, but then as the night progresses, it helps you go into deep sleep if it gets cooler, a little bit cooler, and your body slows down and you get in that deep sleep cycle. And you, on average, people who use the 8 Sleep cover get 30% better deep sleep. That makes a huge difference. I'm getting about 50%. It went from an hour to an hour and a half a night. That's amazing. It also has sensors to track your health and sleep metrics. So every morning you can get up, you don't have to wear anything. It's easy. You just get up, you can look at your phone and you'll see how you slept. Better sleep is the health habit you'll love sticking to night after night. And everybody who's got one of these, I hear from people all the time. I started with Kevin Rose, who's the first one to tell me about this. I was a little skeptical, but then Amy Webb was on the same show. This is a couple of years ago, said, oh, Kevin, I got it. It was great. It changed my life. So we got one about a year ago. We've gone through now summer and winter. I could tell you, you just got one, didn't you, Aunt? Do you like it? Be honest. Tell me the truth.
It's outstanding. And then look at the graph. Well, you can't see it, but
Go ahead.
says
Show his graph. He's got it up on the screen.
93%, 86% overall, because I slept like a hibernating grizzly bear. It was
so nice.
Oh, I love that thing.
It's so nice. Better sleep. It's a health habit that you'll actually love. You'll say, oh, I can get into better sleep. Sure, night after night, you wake up fully energized with the pod cover. You can tackle whatever life throws at you. It's just the best thing ever. I'm a huge fan. Lisa is a huge fan. I strongly recommend you check it out. Go to 8Sleep, EIG. Whoa. You show me mine, yours, I'll show you mine. You want to see mine? My sleep last night? 93. 93. That's a pretty good sleep score. Quality, 95. Routine, 88. Maybe I went to bed a little late. Total time slept, 8 hours and 9 minutes, 93%. That's pretty dark. For me, that's an amazing. I mean, I was getting 50% before we had the 8Sleep pod cover. Save $150 at checkout right now on the pod cover. 8Sleep currently ships within the USA, Canada, the UK, select countries in the EU. And yeah, I know it's a hot summer this year in Australia. They ship to Australia too. Never again suffer with temperature. Look at that, 93. I'm glad I checked. That's really impressive. Wow. Quality, 95%. You also see your stages, you see how long you spent in deep sleep. Hour and 10 minutes, 14% in deep sleep. REM sleep, that's the dreaming sleep, right? 2 hours, 19 minutes. All of this is good. This is all good. Heart rate, 61. HRV, that's heart rate variability, right? 34 milliseconds, that's good. It's supposed to be below 35. Breathing rate in range, 20.7 breaths a minute. What's your breathing rate, Mr. I'm so fit? Curious.
Where's my breathing?
So you go to the full page. Get the full stats.
Breathing rate,
it's at the bottom.
Rate. It's time slept, routine. There it is. Breathing rate, 14.3.
Oh, you beat me.
Imagine that, sir.
Lisa and I do that. We'll wake up in the morning. She'll say, how much sleep did you get? How good was your sleep score? She'll sometimes say, she'll put it in my face, 99. 99. I say, you're young. I'm old. 8sleep.com/twit. Save $150 at checkout on the pod cover. It's not a competition. 8sleep.com/twit. Okay, maybe it's a little bit of a competition. 8sleep. Then she'll go, Wordling 2.
Another story.
She's better than me. I have to admit that. She's just better than me in every way. 8sleep.com/twit. We thank him so much for supporting the show. Real quickly, there's so many stories that Jeff put in.
Hey.
Oh, this is one I do want to do, and I want you to tell me all about this. We saw this last week. It was kind of a shock. We have had on this show many times Joan Donovan. We love Joan Donovan. She's an expert on misinformation. She was at the Shorenstein
Kennedy School.
She was a founder of the Shorenstein Center.
Yes, go ahead.
Shorenstein Center on Media, Politics, and Public Policy. Right. Doing a research project. She wrote a book. This is at Harvard, at the Kennedy School, which is their School of Politics, Institute of Politics. Forced to leave by the dean, according to sources. Now, I figured you'd have the inside story on this, Jeff.
I have a few inside stories. This comes right after the same dean tried to stop Kenneth Roth, former head of Human Rights Watch, universally respected, from being a fellow there. There was outcry, and Roth was then made a fellow. There were earlier activities that were at the Kennedy Center, including First Draft, which was major important entity in disinformation, was kind of forced out. IW Wells, Nicole Hannah-Jones's center, was forced out. That was a whole story a while ago. Same dean, as far as I know. And then Joan forced out. And the argument they're making is that centers at Harvard are supposed to be run by faculty, and she's not tenure-track faculty, and so she really can't do this. Now, they've known that she wasn't tenure-track faculty for years, and she went there.
She was never tenure-track.
4 years
right.
ago. No.
She was there as a researcher, not a professor.
One view is the Semaphore did more reporting on it. One argument is that she got into a tiff with a former Facebook executive. I doubt that that's it. We really just don't know. And I've seen again and again and again, Harvard is just a not nice place.
Tensions rose between the dean and Donovan in fall of 2021, according to this is from the Crimson, Harvard's own student publication, 3 HKS staff members around when Donovan started to work on the Kennedy School's Facebook archive project, fbarchive.org, because she wanted to put all of the whistleblowers' documents from Francis B. Haugen in, and was informed maybe you shouldn't. Now, at roughly the same time, Mark Zuckerberg committed $500 million to Harvard's Neuroscience and AI Institute. So maybe there's a connection, maybe not, but this is Harvard's, favorite son, big donor, and he just happens to run Facebook. And here's somebody who's in charge, who's a researcher on misinformation, wants to add in misinformation information from Facebook and this Facebook archive.org site. Joan herself has not made a comment and has not said anything about this at all, as far as I know.
No, I emailed her just to say thinking of you, and she said there were other people who could tell the story. There's a larger story here that's interesting, gang, which is that, and I got money, my school got money from Facebook to deal with disinformation stuff back in the day after 2016. And now disinformation ain't cool anymore as a field. I know one major think tank is moving away from it. First Draft is no longer doing this. Joan is kicked out of here. There was a International Communications Association conference in Paris asking what comes after disinformation research. It's kind of had its big day. And so that's an interesting question of was it seen as a fad? Was it seen as Cambridge Analytica wasn't that bad after all?
Oh, it's over. We don't have to worry about it. It's nothing.
It's like COVID. They're treated the same way. Joan did important work. I don't agree with everything she says. Joan's brilliant. She's brave. She's been, she's going after people who are not nice people. And we need someone like Joan to do this. And it sucks majorly.
Yeah. I hope some other school picks her up and says, yeah, you know what? This needs to be done. This
She's a great researcher.
Something we need to research. Super smart. She's been on the show many times. We always want to have her on. She may not want to be on right now, but I'll ask her. We'll ask her to get her on soon. But actually, you're not here next week, are you? I guess we got
next
Mike.
Week, no.
We got Mike Elgin already.
You got Mike, yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Stacey's not here the week after.
I'm not here in 2 weeks.
Hey, maybe Jason Howell, you could contact Joan and see if we can get her on.
It was already on the case.
Oh, he says, I already have. Just waiting to hear back. And you could tell her if you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to. But we do want to talk about misinformation. And this is academia. Jeff, you're mired in academia.
Oh, tell me about it. It's
very political. And
very.
It may not even be malicious. It's just, it's just what happens. I grew up in academia. My dad's a professor. That's just what happens. But still, I think Joan should find a seat somewhere. Give her a professorship. Give her a professor.
She's
Put
a
her on the
teacher.
tenure
She's a writer.
track.
She's a researcher.
Yeah,
she's great, and she's funny.
She's smart.
Yeah.
More importantly, to me, she's smart. I'll do the funny here. All right, let's get your pick of the week, Stacey Higginbotham. What do you like? What do you see? What do you know?
All right. This is an app. This is a little late because I didn't do dry January because I was sick, but I am doing a dry February because...
What does that entail?
You can.
What does that entail?
Because you can.
Because I can. Yeah. Because it's basically like not drinking all month.
But just for a month.
February. So.
And by the way, I want to point out the shortest month of the year.
Yes. Okay. Yes, all of this is true. Although if we think about it, I haven't had a drink in like a week and a half at least. So, I feel like I've already started.
You can make your own month, Stacey. Date to date, it's a month. You declare
so why just a month though? What I'm saying is what do you get from just not drinking for a month?
So actually, so far my heart rate variability, that was one of my goals, has
just to see what happens.
Increased.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I was like, I drink a lot when I'm bored or just to mark like the end of the day. And I was like, that's not good.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah. And I mean, like I was drinking maybe 7 or 8 drinks a week, but it still felt like,
I did No Nut November, and I haven't had a nut since. Once you do it, it's easy. It teaches you that you can, right?
I've had a no Brussels sprouts year.
I have Brussels sprouts right now in my fridge.
Yeah, no sprouts. 20s.
Yeah.
So to do this and possibly to like help me just instead of like, because eventually I would like to drink again, right? Like it's very easy to be like, well, I'm not going to drink for a month.
I would someday. That's a good ambition. Someday I would like to drink again.
The point is, I would like to drink mindfully, as the kids say.
Very good.
So
very good.
I have this. I tried this app. It's called Sunnyside Mindful Drinking, and it's 15 days for free. But then you pay. I think it's like $9 a month or like $80 a year. But it's actually text. It can be all text based. You don't actually have to use the app, and you just text it, and you're like, hey. It offers you like, you take a quiz and it'll be like, this is how much you should be drinking, but you can also just set your own parameters. So if you say like, hey, I want to have 5 dry days a week and drink only 2 drinks, what you do is you text your goals to the app and you're like, hey, I want to drink 2 drinks today because I'm going out for a party or whatever, but I only want to drink 2. Then it basically sends you a text that's like, hey, did you only drink 2 drinks? And you're like, no, I drank 3. And then it's like, oh, well, here's how to help you stick to your goals and all of this stuff. And it's kind of nice. Like the same way writing down what you eat kind of helps you not eat stupid food. It helps me anyway. This is helping me. Well, it's not helping me at this moment, but I can see it helping me.
Yeah. It's like Noom.
Stick to my.
It's like Noom for booze. I mean, that makes
Noom
sense.
is evil.
Well, Noom's a sponsor, so I'd like to argue with you on that point.
Noom only puts you in like the least amount of calories you can eat. It's horribly harmful.
No, that's not true. You get to choose. There's a little bunny and there's a cheetah.
I've seen it. I looked at Noom.
Yeah, Lisa and I both do Noom, and I know many people, including Brianna Wu, lost 100 pounds. One of our regulars in our Club Twit lost 60 pounds. He was on our cruise. I saw him. I said, I was looking for him. I said, where are you? You're not on the cruise. He says, I'm right next to you. He's like, what the hell? It's not, half of you is gone. So you don't have to like Noom, but we've used
Noom reactivated an eating disorder. So I was not pleased.
Oh, well, that's
with
a
Noom.
different, you know what? You shouldn't do Noom if you have an eating disorder. I completely agree with you.
I'm like,
you know what?
I'm like, Noom is not helpful.
No. Similarly, if you're an alcoholic, I wouldn't use Sunnyside. I mean,
right. That is something to say. If this is an issue for you, this is not the app. But if you're just like, hey, I noticed my drinking's getting out of hand and I'd like to like be a little bit more accountable about it without like, I don't know, telling my spouse or having someone like try to nag me about it. Yeah. This is just nagging via text.
Did Noom not warn you if you have an eating disorder? I'm pretty sure they do. They say,
no,
don't use
Noom,
us.
When I took the quiz, it was like,
ask you, huh?
Here's how you will achieve your goals. And it was like, you will eat 1,200 calories a day. And I was like,
oh, well, that's your goal.
Crazy.
I see. My goal is, I just don't want to be a fat, tubby guy. And so that was, my goal was, a couple of pounds a year. That's fine. You can set
during
your goal.
The quiz, it pushes you, like during the intro quiz.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like, I'm like, I would like to lose 0.5 pound a week. And it's like, oh, and I would like to lose a total of 15 pounds.
Yeah, that's
like,
reasonable.
We could do that. But it was like, but you could be at this weight, not in June,
right.
which is one option, but right. April if you do this.
Right. Lisa, who's on kind of maintenance, lost, I think, 5 or 10 pounds. She didn't need to lose much and has kept it off. And I think she's not, if something says, oh, you should do this differently, she goes, no, thank you. I'm going to do it my way. So she is not easily pushed into something. But God, yeah, if you've got an eating disorder, you should probably stay away from most diets, right? I mean, that seems like a bad idea.
Yes, I'm sorry to insult your sponsor.
No, you can insult them. No, I think that's fair.
I'm like, fair. It was not a good option for me.
No.
Anyway, this is my app that I'm playing with, and I
this
really
is cool.
like it. It is a lot of texting. So I will let you know that I like the texting because I hate apps. and you don't have to use the app. You can just do everything on the website or on an app. I mean, there is an app. So if you hate a lot of text,
interact
this is
with
not
you
for
a lot through the day?
It can. It basically, you tell it in the morning, like, hey, this is my goal for the day.
Okay.
And then it'll ask you,
yeah.
Did you meet your goal? And then you're like, no, or yes.
Nice.
And then it does it again the next day.
Does it free? Is it charge anything?
15 days free. And then there's a variety of plans that range from like $9 to I think $12 a month,
Nice.
depending on how long you do it. So that's just, I've been playing around with it. I thought it was good.
For a dryish February, sunny side.
They call it if you want to drink, it's a damp February or a damp January.
I think mindful is always good, whatever you're consuming. Mindful is a great idea. I agree 100%. Sunnyside.co, C-O.
It's .co, sorry, yes.
Mr. Jeff Jarvis, you have a number of the week?
Can we play the Google Super Bowl commercial?
Sure.
Line 58?
Sure. We'll just edit it out of the YouTube.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, then we won't do it.
No. I insist.
No,
I don't.
no,
I don't like to have the chilling effect.
Commercial you got to take out?
These companies are
everything.
Awful. And if we put anything, almost certainly they'll do a takedown. So
they've been taking down almost everything.
Yeah, they'll take anything down. This has music in it, they'll take it down. So what we do, though, obviously, we don't get taken down from our podcast feed. So what we do with anything we put on YouTube, we just turn it into a slideshow without audio. So if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast so you get the full thing. It's called Fixed on Pixel, right?
There's an interesting piece here to it.
Yeah.
The joke is you can erase things from images, right?
Yep.
So then Amy Schumer says, "Oh, then I can erase all my boyfriends from the past." Right? That's the joke. So we gave the joke. But what's interesting to me in all this time of deep fakes and fake news and how do you know it's real? I haven't really seen this. This really kind of brings it home that, wow, this is nothing new in this, but the way it's advertised.
Stalin did it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing new in this.
Nope. But it kind of makes it say, oh boy, this is going to be everywhere. So it was interesting that it was advertised.
So just so you know, Super Bowl commercial this year is $7 million for 30 seconds. They will probably air this multiple times. The full commercial is a minute and a half, $21 million. But a lot of times they don't air the full commercial, right? They air snippets. We'll air the full commercial, and I will only charge Google half what they would pay for the Super Bowl. So how about that?
But you don't need to air it now. I just described it. It's fine.
For years, our phones have captured memories. There's a picture of a bride and her husband, a young mom on the ski slope with her son, a family on the beach, and a brother with his sister. But now it's time to fix them. Missy Elliott taking the other kid out of the picture.
Yeah,
taking the dog pooping out of the ski slope. Taking the fat guy with the frisbee out of the family picture on the beach. And who needs the groom when you got the bride? All the exes.
Oh,
That's a famous sports athlete. And embarrassing T-shirt. And an old man in the pool.
Yeah.
And a person named Doja Cat. A sad off-key harmonica plays We Run This. Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
It animates, it fixes. It's totally awesome.
This is all the same stuff they said when the phones was launched last year on the 6th.
It's a good point.
It's
a good point. All right.
Commercial. It doesn't have to be new.
For you, I
just
found
telling
your
people
new
that
coffee
exist.
machine, Ant, on line 86.
Oh, really, sir?
Yes, I
There's
did.
more.
Yes, I did.
My coffee machine.
Coffee for ant. This is a TikTok ant. Beware. Be prepared.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
No music. No music. No musical.
Okay. Perfectly dosed.
She says,
beans.
"Oh, I love this guy."
I love this guy. He takes 45 minutes to make a cup of coffee, and it's worth it. That's a telescope.
He's using a telescope?
No, it's not.
It's the scale.
It's the perfect.
It's so high tech. Look at that. Everything's perfect. Every step has a purpose.
Who puts a filter in their
We
espresso
don't know the
machine?
purpose,
That's dope.
but it has one.
I don't.
That thing had a magnet. So cool. I mean, for $10,000, I hope it does.
She's hysterical.
I just made that up. I have no idea.
Oh, that's a Fleer.
It's a Fleer?
This is the best part.
Yeah, that's the
look at that head.
espresso machine. You use your own muscle.
Oh, you do
I
it
don't know
by
what this is
hand.
supposed to look
Bar.
like, but that looks good.
It looks a little orange, to be honest.
Yeah, you better decant that. I would. Oh, I love this guy.
That's
A lot of
hysterical.
He takes 45 minutes to
Good
make
So
commercial, though.
you know all about that?
No,
I know a
don't.
little.
Ant
I
does.
have no desire to get a Fleer. I'd rather have a machine like the one.
You don't
that's
want
there
to
at
work
Tweet
your
Studios.
biceps or triceps or whatever muscles.
I get
work.
enough work on my biceps. Don't you worry.
Look at him showing off the guns. If I had known there was going to be a gun show, I would have brought my my weapons.
Nah, dude, these are cannons. No guns.
Sorry.
Oh Lord!
Sorry. So the Flair espresso maker
Got a Nerf
requires
gun.
you to pull your espresso yourself. Look at that.
Yep.
It's like a pomegranate squeezer, only it's espresso.
Let
Is
you
it
get
better
your
that
own
way?
bar.
I've never seen
Isn't that
a
better that way?
pomegranate squeezer.
I mean, why don't I let the machine do it?
I guess sometimes the machine can be inconsistent.
Yeah,
but
I mean, this
heck,
has a
you
little-
can be consistent with the Flair.
I'm inconsistent. I'm too weak to do it.
If your grind ain't right, you won't get the right pressure either.
Oh,
So-
that's true. And then it shows you have
I
a little
didn't
pressure.
know there was a pomegranate juicer, y'all.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. We have one at home. They're amazing.
Of course you do.
We saw one in Turkey. We were in Istanbul, by the way. Thoughts and prayers. Love to
yes.
everybody in Turkey.
Oh,
What a
yeah.
terrible,
God,
terrible
yes.
thing.
Right.
Yeah, indeed.
But we were
How do you?
in Istanbul, and all over Istanbul, there's guys with big carts of beautiful red pomegranates and those giant squeezers, and they cut it in half. You go, it's good.
Oh my God!
It'll also do juice oranges. If you
I need
really-
this. Oh my God! It's $250.
Well,
So, nope, you don't need it.
the best costs more.
Buy some palm.
Clearly.
I can just buy the Palm Wonderful in the store. Oh, here's one for $70.
Yeah, I don't think we
Getting
spent
there.
that much on ours. Ours is just some cast iron thing. I mean, it's not, but it's great. It needs a long enough.
When was the
lever that
last time
can-
you used it, Leo?
All the time. I use it
Really?
every time I make piccata because I put a lemon in there. It's a great way to juice a lemon. And Lisa,
Okay,
is
I have a
pomegranate-
citrus juicer.
No, this is better. This is not one of those things you go. This is not that. This is like.
No, I have a hand squeezer for my citrus.
you could use
I use
that.
it for
But this
making
is-
cocktails.
Wait till you get this.
You can use your hands.
Trust me. Wait till you get this. It's a whole different ball game. It just.
Haven't. Okay. All right,
I'm
we've
surprised
totally
you-
derailed
I'm
the show.
surprised you don't have.
I don't even know what's happening ananymore. We talked about baseball,
Ann,
pomegranate.
if you had a choice between, it's $575, and you know it's not even
And you-
electric.
Right, and you use your own muscle? Damn that. Nope.
Heck
But
with
it's
that.
pretty.
Give me a double boiler. Give me the one that's there at 1351 Suite B,
Yeah,
Redwood Way.
you like that one?
Yeah, that works.
Well, if I ever get a flare, I'll give you the Breville.
Well, that doesn't even have all the stuff we saw in the video.
It does
it doesn't
require
need all that.
a high
I don't need all
quality
that.
espresso capable burr grinder like the flare.
I have a decent grinder. I have a decent conical burr grinder.
Yeah, as long as
We're
you got
good
the
to go.
conical burr, baby. Oh, look, you can get the Flare 58 valve plunger upgrade kit for a mere $40. There's a deal.
Pass, sir.
Look at they have a hand grinder too. Maybe there's just
I
some
have a
people-
hand grinder for emergency.
Yeah, they just don't.
But not for $700.
They just don't want to.
No.
I'm not. Yeah, what if
You know
there's no
what?
power? How are you going to get your coffee?
No power. This is what you need.
No. With my hand grinder, I take my my little power drill, and just put it on the end
that's
of it.
smart.
Zzz,
That's
and that
smart.
Fixes it up.
Let the drill do
Just
it.
in case my grinder breaks. I have a hand grinder.
I'm
that'll
giving
do
up
the job.
coffee. You know what I'm going to start drinking? And you're
Bless
going to
your heart.
see me doing this. I'm going to drink
Pomegranate juice.
yerba mate. I'm going to start drinking.
Yerba mate?
Yeah, mate. I'm going to start drinking. I got the little cup, the little silver bombilla straw.
What was the movie where the bad guy drank that all the time?
Yeah, it's really creepy because, and I saw this when I was in Uruguay. These guys walk around the whole time holding this cup, and every once in a while they go, and some of them have straps around their necks to hold the cup. Some of them have straps around their necks to hold the cup, and another strap around the shoulder to hold a thermos of hot water so they can pour more water into the gourd.
Wow.
And it's a whole thing. And boy, don't ever stir your mate. Apparently, that's considered a no-no. So I am going to be that effete kind of Dr. Evil guy with my little
Today I
cup
learned.
of mate.
Is it caffeine?
High caffeine.
It does have caffeine. Yeah.
High caffeine.
Not of that.
Or you could just do Coke. Options.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola? Where do I get that
No.
Coca-Cola? No, she
No,
means
she
Coke.
said you could just do
She means
Coke.
Coke.
I mean Coke.
She means cocaine.
Lowercase.
Let's
c.
clarify.
I mean, if you're going to get that kind of caffeine and you're just going to sip on it all day, I mean, why
Did
not
you
just
see
do a
Tom
couple
Hanks' invention of cocaine?
He
you see
invented
this?
it?
He was on, I think, one of the late night shows, and accidentally he had a Coke, and somebody poured champagne into it, a Diet Coke and champagne, and it's a whole shtick now how it's really good, and people are making videos telling Tom Hanks, "Oh, Tom, this is great."
He calls
There
it
you go.
cocaine
Oh,
with an
gosh.
AGNE. And yes, here's from tasteofhome.com. We tried Tom Hanks Champagne Diet Coke cocktail, and it's
That's
the real
hilarious.
thing. This is called
That
a
is
Kir
not the real thing. That is
Royale.
Prosecco.
Yeah, that's not even champagne. But what you do, and my wife does it, is you get a little cassis and you put a little dab of cassis in the bottom and you pour the champagne on top. That's a Kir Royale, and a Kir Royale is the best drink ever.
You know what? If you take your Kir Royale and add just a dollop of pomegranate juice,
Ooh.
it is.
But only if you have
Also
a giant
amazing.
squeezer.
I'm just letting you know that
I
that,
shall
that is
tell
what I
Lisa
use my
that.
Palm Wonderful for.
I shall tell Lisa that. That does sound like, because it's a little tart, a little sweet,
Yeah.
a little bubbly.
Yeah.
Forget dry February. Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, it's
Now-
a Royale with cheese.
Now, it's champagne. That's
It's a
not
Royale
drinking.
with squeeze.
It's not drinking. It's not. And your pick of the week, sir.
My pick of the week is some pretty outstanding images that have been uploaded to a photo contest hosted by ViewBugs. ViewBugs is a service that I mentioned on my show not too long ago because they had something that I thought was controversial, but they reached out and said, "Hey, you want to judge our next contest?" I said, "Sure."
You're going to be a judge.
I would judge the contest, and the winner would get some things, including one of my presets and the images in there. If you scroll
look
up
at
to the
him.
top,
I know that guy.
yeah, that looks like me.
Oh, nice.
If you scroll to the top and click on photos, the photos are beautiful. Not there,
Oh.
not submit.
No,
There
these
you
are ones that have already been submitted. These are the
Yeah,
ones
there's
you have to
been
choose.
Roughly 10,000. So far, about 10,000 entries have been in there, and they're going to call through a lot of them and
Gee,
then
these
get
are
back to me.
How do you pick? Obviously,
They're
a lot of
really,
real
really,
pros are on this site. Holy camole!
Really, really nice stuff.
Oh, these
well,
are
it's a theme.
gorgeous.
The contest is the morning mist.
Yeah.
And just, how can you capture that? And so
Look at, they had to
I'm
go
gonna base
all
it
the
off
way
of
to
the
New
theme.
Guinea to get that picture. This is amazing. Oh, look at these.
Yeah,
Very
there's
nice.
so many good ones in there.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're
How
going
do
to
you
do
get a
some of the
lion?
heavy lifting.
You got to get up early in the morning to get a lion snorting in the cold.
You just can't be lying
No,
around.
you can't.
This is
Viewbug.com.
just going to get worse from here.
Viewbug.com.
And some nice
Viewbug.com.
prizes. And this You can influence the judge because he's Ant.
No comment.
Oh, Ant.
No comment.
Nice.
But yeah, but go check that out.
I will. That's cool. Good for you. That's great.
And I want to give a shout out to a loyal Twig listener, Mr. Terrell C. Woods. He has been in my brain, and I said, you know what? I'm going to mention him because I know he listens to the show, and he actually reaches out over social media and has some funny stuff.
Sport photographer.
And he's a damn good photographer.
Yeah.
Damn good photographer. So shout out to you,
action shots.
Mr. Terrell.
Nice job.
He's down there in Southern California at USC, shooting a lot of sports with those folks there at the university. He's a good dude.
Nice.
And a great photographer.
All right. I'll follow him right now.
And lastly, of course, I have to mention my family because some people just love me talking about my family.
I do. I love it.
Even those that don't, I'm still going to talk about them. If you check out the thread there, Rancho Cotati High School Athletics features said hardhead because this past weekend he was competing in the spoken word and poetry out loud competition.
Oh.
And won the county, so he will be going to the state.
This is like, is this like, what do they call that? Beat poetry when you
spoken word, and he had to act out some stuff, and he did pretty good. I told him his mother's a better actor, but he still did pretty good.
Oh, that's really neat. What was his was it? Do you call it a poem? What was his speech?
I cannot remember. It was a poem, but I do not remember.
Well, it wasn't about you, obviously. So
no, it wasn't. No.
Yeah. Nice.
Because if it was about me, he definitely would have lost.
My dad, Ant, is so cool.
And he gets on my nerves.
Coffee before I go to school. That's all I got.
I still wish we could sing our Google theme, our Google song. Still pissed.
Wait, wasn't there an AI music generator?
There was.
Yeah,
we talked about it last week.
Couldn't use it.
Yeah.
Last week we did it. She couldn't use it. It was only a demo.
Well, get on it.
And it was terrible.
It wasn't good.
That was
Our Discord is much better.
All right. Let me go to, this is sounddraw.io. Royalty-free music, AI generated for you. Create music. Select the theme. Are we angry? Are we dark? Are we dreamy? Are we elegant? Are we glamorous? We're funny and weird.
Are we hungry?
There we are.
Definitely weird.
Funny and weird.
It's now creating some funny and weird music, and then we could just use this as our theme. Are you ready? You get to choose. We got a variety of choices here. Funny and weird. Which one do you want? Oh, you could choose the energy level as well.
I feel like we're high energy.
Yeah, it needs to be about
not very high.
Just high.
90 beats per minute.
90? Okay, we can turn that down. Or just go to a 90. Let's go to a 90 and choose high. It's all mixed up.
That's not an option here.
How do I play it?
Yeah, this
there,
is
the play
well.
button. There you go.
Nope.
It's a very slow start.
Look at Stacy.
Oh God, the audience is leaving. Stacy's headache must be over.
Hey, welcome to another episode of This Week.
Sounds good.
This is terrible, but it's better than.
I'm
But
sorry.
it ain't us. It ain't us, though.
No, you're right.
Hello,
Ann. It's not
everybody, and welcome to This Week in Google. Next on This Week in Google, the TikTok video of the week.
You know what we need? We need lyrics about Google. That's what we need.
Well, we got the music,
Oh
we got the lyrics. Let's just meld them together.
Yeah.
All right, that's not so good. How about
Oh,
funk
you
pop?
chain wreck.
Funk pop. Hey, baby. Are you hip? Are you with it? Are you cool? Are you ready for this week?
It's time for Twig. Sit down, grab your flash drives, your pixels, and let's talk about dev life, baby. And all things
as
tech.
DJ.
All right, next one's a little
DJ
country.
Ant.
I think our Austin, Texas contributor ought to do this one. Sing a song to this song.
This is like children's music.
Down in Google land.
That's
All
straight
get
from
together
Nickelodeon.
to sing like the band. Here we go. Take a coconut and join in. It's time for This Week in Google.
Were you a music DJ? Were you a music jock?
Oh, yeah.
How were you at talking up the records?
I was good at that.
We got 4 minutes left before we hit our 3-hour mark.
Oh, craps.
Well, that means we got to keep going to make sure we hit it.
No, we're done. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We do This Week in Google every Wednesday. Right, it's supposed to be 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2200 UTC. You tune in live. You're going to see what you see. Sometimes it's scary. Don't tell the kids. It is This Week in Google. If you want to watch live.twit.tv, chat at irc.twit.tv, Club Twit members chat in the Club Twit Discord. By the way, I didn't mention Club Twit, but we got some events coming up tomorrow. Wintwit Dow is going to join us for a fireside chat. She's the host of All About Android. Daniel Suarez on Friday talking about his new book, Critical Mass, really good. Daniel is a big space advocate. We'll talk to him about how he's going to save the world through space. Sam Abul-Samad, our car guy, March 2nd. Stacy's Book Club, Sea of Tranquility is the novel of the month next April. Victor Bognot, one of our editors in April. That's just some of the many events that go on in our club. You can always chat, too, about the show in our Discord. You can get ad-free versions of everything we do. Everything we do. All you have to do is, join the club, and we'll give you a URL that's just for you with all the ads taken out. There's also shows we don't put out anywhere else, like Hands on Macintosh, Hands on Windows, Untitled Linux show. I think it's just great. It to me is the best place to hang ever. It helps us continue to do what we do. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, join the club. twit.tv/clubtwit. And there's Snoop singing our new song. I'm excited. I'm very excited. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Thank you, Stacey Higginbotham. You'll find her at staceyoniot.com. Sign up for her newsletter. It's free. And, of course, listen to the great podcast with Kevin Toffel. Thank you, Jeff Jarvis. He is the director of the Town Night Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism.
Craig's Pigeons
at the City University of New York. By the way, no pigeons were harmed in the making of this show, Craig. We also thank Ant Pruitt, Hands On Photography, twit.tv/hop. He's also our community manager in Club Twit. That's why it's so much fun.
Google Craig Newmark Pigeons. Just for 1 second.
Yeah,
just
there's
for
a
one
reason.
farewell.
There's a reason. Doesn't he have a website that's dedicated to
just Google Craig Newmark Pigeons, and the images are right there. They're very sweet. Oh, you can't Google it because you don't have...
I don't Google it, but I do have pigeons.
Us neither.
The pictures aren't as good. Well, there's Craig and Pigeons. Yes.
Outstanding.
That's not Craig and the Pigeon.
Does he invite them in from like...
There's a pigeon rescue place, and they come and they bring him in. No, he doesn't do this. He has bird feeders and bird stuff, and he loves birds of all kinds. But the
is he doing
rescue,
pigeon entrapment?
No. He's pigeonrescue.org. He doesn't entrap them. He rescues them.
Jammer B, you are so awesome.
You're good. You're
too crazy. You're so awesome.
Too crazy.
All right, now you can say goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next time on Twig. Bye-bye.
If you love all things Android, well, I've got a show for you to check out. It's called All About Android, and I'll give you 3 guesses what we talk about. We talk about Android, the latest news, hardware, apps. We answer feedback. It's me, Jason Howell, Ron Richards, Wintwit Dow, and a whole cast of awesome characters talking about the operating system that we love. You can find All About Android at twit.tv/AAA.